A very early ban there on Consulate from EP, seeing how good Chiefs ran it just a second ago. So we're gonna go back to bank, then Nighthaven, then to Fortress. So bit of a different map video this time around. Honestly, I don't know who to call here personally. I don't know who I would say is expected to win, who's gonna take it. I just hope for a third map, or I want to see these guys go head-to-head on Fortress later on.
I mean, we deserve a big 3-map series. We deserve to see the 2 best teams in OCE go head-to-head for a full 3-map banger. But Enterprise are no doubt the favorites. We go to their map pick. It is Bank to kick off our grand final here in OCE with a spot at the major on the line. Chiefs players going up against their former organization, former coaches against each other, and of course the return of Magnet coaching Enterprise. It is our super team of EP challenged by the new generation of the Chiefs, and it starts here on Bank.
We have seen these bans before. Could it be the Kaida Sami and the Ace and the Hibana? Because if that is the case, no, not quite. It was going to be the exact same as the game that Chiefs just had a second or minutes ago, rather. But it's going to be Kite and Castle, a very similar stylistic choice where you're weakening both the basement and the upstairs hold. And then, of course, Chiefs, they will double down on the Ace and the Hibana, making the top floor bomb site a lot more playable as there's no ranged hard destruction. And I really do like this. It does mean that, you know, your basement is like, by everybody's measure, the strongest bomb site for the defenders. But then open area and top floor of CEO are both a little bit tricky. This kind of makes it a lot more even across the board. But Enterprise, they've seen this, you know, they're all watching the previous game for Chiefs versus Manlafo. They know what to expect. They've seen where Manlafo, they fell short and what they can fix themselves in response.
Yeah, I mean, EP have spent the morning just watching Chiefs' game and been like, okay, well, how'd they play Bank? All right, well, we saw them win 7-3 over Man LFO. Chiefs started on defense. They went 4-2 on the split. That's pretty impressive, going 4-2 on your defense. Hang on a second. This is Enterprise's map pick. Chiefs chose to start defense, the unfavored side. Perhaps they're so filled with confidence after that 4-2 split earlier today that they actually think that they're going to be better on the traditionally unfavored side of this map.
It's all about trying to set the pace and control the momentum, and I think there are a couple of reasons why you might want to start defense here. For those exact purposes of saying, hey, we know that strategically we can win a couple of rounds, or we think that the way that they're going to be attacking going into the cold is not going to be as successful, because mind you, Chiefs has been warming up. They played a whole best of 3. They won 2-0. Great. Enterprise, I'm sure they had a warm-up scrim, but not quite the same thing. So they might be a bit slower on the attack because of this. Whereas you gave them 6 rounds on defense, then side swap, might have had a bit of a faster pace attack, for example, being very ready for it. It's going to be a bit of a roam clear, top floor, Solid Snake,
nice.
Newest Operator, goes in, pops a gadget, and boom! It's clear, James. There's nobody here.
Yeah, very quick work from Jigsaw, Mikasa, as he's called in game. Notice that Tuhan has changed his name back from Aaron to Tuhan Zero. Good info here from the Solid Snake, though, man. I mean, such an efficient roam clear. Immediately, he can already call. All right, yep, drop down that hatch, drop down that hatch. All right, we're good. So efficient, so quick, and it doesn't spend some of those precious drones from EP.
1 minute 35, a hatch being opened up. They got in full map control, with the exception of garage and server stairs, really. And they are primed for an execute. They got the best operators for this, right? They got the Ying, the Grim, the Capital, and then you pair that with the live information of the Solid Snake. If you can get down a staircase to get to that basement portion, you can scan a big portion of the entire bomb site. But the 2 Brown is stalling things out. I think Enterprise are ready, but they need to get that hatch opened up. It keeps getting frozen, but that is going to be the last one tossed from Lunchbob. So Lunchbob, I keep calling Lunchbob.
I think it's so funny when you say Lunchbob.
Lunchbox. But now I see that Zishan get deep in the bomb so I can lock down the A door. This pretty much means that Enterprise either have to find a safe plant spot somehow from Babin here inside the server, or drop down the hatches, attack the front portion of lobby side, and just try and get chaos in the server. That right there, that opens things up.
Big opening, but it is traded back by Relays. However, Enterprise all drop from different places at the same time. They establish a numbers advantage. Lunchbox Forced all the way back deep into gold. Great shot from Neptune, though. Critically, Kyra couldn't take him down. Double kill from Neptune. It's now all up to Tuhan. He has to go deep. Neptune finds all the final 3 kills. And Chiefs bring it back despite being in deficit. They overcome in the 2v3.
I'm telling you right there, that is the going into a game warm kind of buff. You know, they are ready to strike back, to go for the punch, and they are up against a man LFO who are very aggressive on their own executes. So they've seen this kind of playstyle before. They didn't break a sweat. They hold down the front and the back push at the same time. They trade each other as much as possible, but it's going to be Neptune who pops up in that round as the individual hero for Chiefs. This was the entire story of Bang for them against Manlefo. They were clutching round after round after round on defense, and they start off in the exact same way.
EP, I mean, we know that Chiefs are good on this map of Bank, but EP are good on Bank as well. They've already won it throughout the bracket. They beat both Barbie Boys 7-2 and Man LFO 7-2. So funnily enough, both of these teams have very similar scorelines against Man LFO. We know that Enterprise should be confident here, should be good here. We know there's a good reason why they picked it, but they need to make sure not to let fickle moments like that slip between their fingers.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Actually beat Fury on this map. Yeah, wow, they beat Fury on this map at the Munich Major. That's insane.
That is, yeah.
That was old EP, obviously. So, I mean, it was actually 2 players from EP, 2 players from the Chiefs and Fisher guys. So that perhaps doesn't really...
So if they combine the rosters, they can beat Fury, but separately.
Well, you never know, of course. Both these teams have arguably got roster upgrades. I mean, particularly Brendo and Jigsaw
it's a better fit.
Joining EP, Cairo as well. I mean, I know he kind of gets talked about a bit less, but it's because he's not as much of a front... facing player on the team. He's very much more of the kind of support guy. He's got a lot of ideas he brings to the table. He actually played for that old Chiefs team with Brendo back in the day.
Target located.
One thing that kind of I noticed last round is, like, you know, Mikasa or Jigsaw, he got the opening pick and just start, you know, they keep pushing. Enterprise, when they get that first initial pick, they remind me a little bit of G2 and EML. They speed up where most teams would kind of reset the rounds or slow down, and I think we really have to watch for that throughout this grand final, because if they keep speeding up, and Chiefs shut them down, you have to kind of raise the question, should they change their playstyle slightly? Also, are they able to do it off the rip? A great nade, yeah, injures Neptune. There's no dock, there's no revival necessarily. For this one, he's stuck in a tough location with Babin also watching the rotation and the cross in the bomb site. Yeah, he's gonna be bleeding out surely. Meaning that once more Enterprise, they will start this round off 5v4. But this time they don't speed up. They're still just watching and waiting. It's
actually almost better that Neptune's on the floor not getting revived instead of being dead, because he can't sit cameras for the team now. He's just going to keep holding his blood. I think someone's crossing to try and revive it. There's no way that that is going to work out. Enterprise knew that he was injured a long time ago. However, there are no grenades to try and confirm it. Good info here for EP.
It's not revived yet.
Still, Neptune is bleeding out on the ground.
Is it actually gonna... Oh, they just get 2 kills out of nowhere. They're gonna sacrifice Neptune, though. They're not gonna go for the revive.
Yeah, no, they won't. Eventually, he bleeds out, but it's been worth it. Good kills. However, Jekena will go down to Jigsaw, trying to make his way in the bomb site on the Deimos. Lunchbox still in this pivotal position. As he's smoked off, he can't go for a flank outside Janitor now, but Relays and Player, their phone's ringing. Lunchbox protected. The coverage here from Relays. However, the Glaz will be able to peer through the smokes. Tries to walk through the Glaz. Finds a kill. Player now in a 1v3, but he can isolate the first fight surely against Brendo, and he will win it. He has been so clutch today against the previous opponent from the Chiefs, but it's not enough in the 1v3. Jigsaw puts the round to bed, and Enterprise find their first round.
A little bit of a confusing round. The early injured, no revive, and Echo sprinting past the bomb site and just kind of dies to a long angle, but at the end of the day, it is going to be EP slowing down the pace this time around and actually getting rewarded for it. They had smokes with the glass. They were just patient on the entries, and they are explosive when they have to be. Chiefs didn't have many pieces of utility like C4s, Toxic Babes, etc. Didn't have much to throw at the problem. Just had to get lucky with a smoke wall bang. That's kind of the issue with not playing the Warden every single round, is you don't have Warden in the right location, the right bomb site against the glass, and nobody can really fight back against it. This isn't a map where bulletproof cameras and Maestro Evil Eyes are super common on every single bomb site. So now you gotta keep that in mind if you're Chiefs. Hey, what if they bring the glass? Hey, what if they bring the Monty? Hey, what if they go for a rush? There are so many small scenarios you have to think about and prepare for strategically, and you can actually end up spreading your defender lineup very, very thin and being a little bit good at everything, but not really excelling in one area. So with attack or repick, that makes life difficult because Enterprise, they see a particular set of operators that counters the glass Monty, for example. They can just not pick it, and then Chiefs are stuck with like worse operators. So trying to save your defending operators, kill the Jones in prep phase very early on, all very important things to consider.
I think this is actually going to be a very hard bomb site to attack for Enterprise. I mean, seeing Neptune playing inside Staff Room with the Azami, and what's more, he's got the Slug Shoddy, that is a really hard position to clear. You can't really vert them out, especially when they play on top of the B-bomb itself with the Kiba barriers. So Neptune, I mean, we know how influential he's been for Chiefs. EP have to be careful not to feed him in the late round. Firstly, they'll look to clear the top floor. Lunchbox on a smoke roam up inside Janitor Closet. He is almost alone on the top floor. Player is not far behind. That's very unorthodox. A quick peek from Lunchbox, and Jigsaw will go down.
Catching him by surprise. I guess Enterprise didn't watch the consulate game from Chiefs, huh? Because they did the exact same thing to Man LaFoe. But now they're gonna be more prepared for it in the rounds to come. Gotta watch those entries. Got the Monty of Cairo now, cleaning meeting, janitors, saying guys they dropped. 2-1 takes a ton of damage from the Razor Bloom of Relays and the Thorn. So I'm gonna see massive value here for Chiefs. They've done a lot of damage, they've got an opening pick, and they have a pretty strong bomb site. Goya Fire, Toxic Babes, Asami Kiba barriers to kind of help fortify some of those weaker positions. And because they have 5 defenders, they can keep some by the bomb side and then leave one player in this case, in the basement who can cover the main staircase, the server staircase, a late round for a flank.
And there's no vert on stock as well, which would otherwise expose a lot of those site positions. And with Buck dead and Bappin fully out of Rams, then that's not going to get open unless Brendo comes over with his secondary shotgun.
Let's proceed slowly.
Yeah, it does make life a little bit hard now, and I think that's why they're just holding their angles. They're just kind of hoping the Chiefs will make a rotation and overstep and get caught off guard, but they're not doing so at all. Cairo jumps into the bomb site.
Wow, risky.
2-1 by the side window, Bappin bottom square. They're going to try and just go for it, I guess.
This is very risky. Bappin tries to come in and backstab, but we've also got to worry about the player coming up from the main stairs. It's Player himself on the Goyo. He is cutting off Brendo. Tuhan not able to have an impact, and well, Cairo's gone down at Monty on the bomb site, completely obliterated. Player still holding his position at the bottom of the main stairs, and Neptune still just sits comfortably in staff room. Bappin now in a 1v4. He'll find a first consolation frag before getting swung by Jakenna. Very cut and dried, open and shut case for Chiefs.
It's a great hold. Again, early aggression, get opening pick, fall back, and play numbers advantage, force them into a bad execute. And Cairo dropping the hedge with Monty, he doesn't have many other options to go for, really, but he's dropping into the counter of the Smoke Toxic Babes. I'm very curious in the set of operator bans, if we're gonna see operators, like a Warden ban and force the Ying Glass, if we're gonna see the Monty ban or something else. It's gonna be the Ying and the Asami actually going out.
Like the Azami.
Okay. Yeah, Asami's great. I mean, it's played on every single bomb site, maybe with the exception of basement half the time. And the Ying one can be for a lot of reasons. It could be expecting the Warden ban, it could be just removed from being played, and it again gives you less things to worry about. Now you gotta keep in mind the Glass and the Monty. That's really like the main attackers, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, on top of just the operator selection, leaving a pick early, EP just having Jigsaw run in and die with no trade, it's moments like that that are uncharacteristic and very deadly for EP. Jigsaw actually messaged me before the game. He said he's going to drop 30 today, so he's
Did he say that? Yeah?
He did. He said, "I'm sorry, mate. I tried to change my name back to Jigsaw. Tuhan's changed his from Aaron back to Tuhan, but I didn't get, unfortunately, the opportunity to change my name. But I'll make it up to you." And I said, "If you drop 20 kills every map, then I'll forgive you." And he said, "Okay."
Every map. Okay.
He's not making much
Just a
progress
little
so
20
far.
bomb.
I mean, it's gonna have to be a long map for him to get 20.
He's saying he hasn't made much progress, but he's actually the top fragger, doubling anybody else in the team or more.
It's true.
So
It's true.
he's doing pretty alright, you know. Can't fault the guy just yet. And he's got the tough competition. I would say, like, yeah, it's uncharacteristic for EP to lose Jigsaw / Mikasa in that fashion, but I think it's actually praise to Chiefs at finding these gaps and being able to punish them so effectively. It's not many players and not many teams can do that here in OCE. It's perhaps just Chiefs that can do it.
Could be. Lunchbox is on for a roam on this basement bomb site. Finally spots that drone that's been pinging him out. I like the way that this is set up, though. I mean, some uncharacteristic reinforcements on the bomb site as well as off the bomb site, but the way that Lunchbox is playing that, where he can create a line of sight with the DMR, he'll actually find Cairo and then immediately drop off of it. That's a huge value kill. Find the kill outside Printer. And Brendo does not check for the default cam, so he will be revealed. Neptune can get aggressive on the blue stairs. I mean, Chiefs look very in control.
Curious what Neptune's plan is here. He's got 3 Razor Blooms in pocket, playing the Thorn shotgun. The fact that he's kept them in pocket is, I mean, most likely on purpose. Could be trying to trick them on the door so that when they push him, he can try and, you know, get his own trade with the gadget. Because they step in, either they fight the shotgun and die to the Razor Bloom, or vice versa. Otherwise, it's going to be wasted util if not. But even if you were to fall, right? Look at the late round of this defense lineup. You got Goyo Fire, Smoke, and Tashanga. So they're pretty much saying, hey, we're going to stall time open area, we're going to stall time server, and then when we fall back, we got a very strong backline. Because the timer was so low when they got the server hatch and A hatch opened up, I guess Neptune just said, you know what, I don't need to die on server. We can play the 5v4, we can use the Razor Blooms as a way of plant denial by throwing them in the middle of the round, like they did on Consulate.
There's so much plant denial here for Chiefs. I mean, I don't see a way that EP win this without going absolutely nuclear. And there's no more hard breach to open up that default plant spot as well.
Oh, you're right.
This is very scary here for EP. The only way to win this is to go unbelievable. And while Jakenna is completely lighting up the bomb site, it's going to be nigh impossible. Bappen cannot plant while the fire goes down. Good kill from Mikasa. Jigsaw finds his. The smokes will surely lock this out. I mean, smoke and fire. That's a hell of a lot of damage here onto the EP players looking for a plant. Puts a hell of a lot of pressure onto Jigsaw, who needs to go for a backstab as the Grimm's bees subside. The plant trying to go again from Bappen, but it's not likely to work out. He gets hit by the Thorn Trap. The fire, one tick of it will kill him. The plant trying to go down. He will fall. Finally, the Goyo Fire is what puts the nail in the coffin for Bappen. And despite some big kills from EP, Chiefs found every single kill they needed.
Yeah, there's no backstab. We're watching Mikasa on the main staircase with Solid Snake getting all the information of the defenders and still does not push into that bomb site door, doesn't go for the play. And that's probably due to communication from EP saying, guys, they don't know we're planting, it's going down, don't risk taking a back gunfight. But that ends up being a fake call because the Goyo Fire then gets popped, the plant gets denied, and now you don't have a backstabber. So they lose the round with about 2 or 3 attackers alive, but 0 seconds on the clock. And again, really well done there from Chiefs. For a short second, I thought, oh my god, they're wasting all their smoke babes with the Goyo Fire, with the Shashanka Fire. But at the end, they actually just kind of ensured that they didn't miss 1 pixel off the plant spot. They were making sure that they covered every single area, that no plant could possibly go down. It's better to lose that round because you spent all your plant denial, and then of course there was enough time for them to plant after the fact, than to sit with utility in pocket and they somehow sneak a plant right in front of you. So 3-1 lead here on bank defense, by the way.
Yeah.
Aiming to go even further.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Like, EP could have droned out that entire setup and prep phase, seen the Tachanka, seen the smoke, seen the Goyo, and thought, okay, this is all about plant denial. We either have to clear that and be planting with so much time in advance, or we're not, our win condition can't be the plant. And in the end, the win condition was the plant. The timer hit 0. They had more kills than Chiefs, but the plant didn't go down. So the round was over. And that just speaks to the fact that EP, I think they struggle a little bit with playing that more structured variant of Siege. They've a lot of good fraggers, but when they need kind of that old school, okay, they have this utility, we need this to hard counter it, or we need to adapt our playstyle because of it, that's where I think EP struggle a little bit. Can't afford to lose another attack round here. That's the way I see it.
No, you really can't. And, you know, if you go into this upper bracket, your EP, you're feeling hot, you're feeling good. What happens to your mental if you start losing all these rounds on the favorable side and Chiefs are clutching against you, they're out-strategizing you, they're better on the entry? It's gonna feel frustrating. And if EP were to lose their confidence on their individual players, that's mental boom. That's like worst case scenario, because that's their whole thing, right? They are better, they are more confident, they're more aggressive. But if they lose that flare, I'm not sure what else they can bring. Strategically, this grenade is great. This time they get the injure and confirm the kill onto Nep. Same thing as last time. They isolate the most vulnerable player first, and then they hit the side later. That is with the my pick here from Chiefs, trying to counter the exact push.
Yeah.
Wildly successful. Now they got Capital Fire to boot afterwards as well. They should have this round in the bag. Oh, they're actually in already.
This is very aggressive.
Oh,
this is risky. Does Lunchbox have information? He can see that that plant's going down. The gas comes out. Will it be able to deny it in plan in time? Indeed, it will not. Cairo manages to survive a brief moment longer. But he still hasn't died. 5v4 in the post plant. Cairo is so lucky to have survived the gas, tucked away in this tiny little corner. And player still one gas in pocket. That will quickly kill the Blackbeard, but Lunchbox trying to peek out of Janitor's closet will fall. Relays now 1v5. It's not going to happen. No universe where that happens. A flawless round. A much needed one at that for Enterprise.
Speaking of confidence, again, they just fire, smoke, rappel on in, go for an immediate plant. Because they're so quick to the punch, they can get down a diffuser effortlessly. Had they started planting just 2 seconds later, the Toxic Babe is there. It denies the plant. Maybe Solus could have rotated below vertically and shut it down as well. So really, really good pace being set, catching Chiefs by surprise. But that is going to be the last time they see top 4 in this half. So they gotta do this one more time. Try and get that third attack round ideally. When they can find that isolated player and get the 5v4 and just pick the round apart strategically, that's when EP looks solid here on Bank. But when they can't find the pick or they can't go for execute, they cannot clutch up individually enough against Chiefs to just win the round by pure gun skill. So they got to respect Chiefs in the server and take it nice and slow and ensure that they either have the numbers or they have enough utility to go for a bomb set execute.
Yeah. Even then, that round was by a very small margin. I mean, one more tick of the smoke and that plant doesn't go down from Cairo. I do like, though, Enterprise, that using their third ban on the Azami, it's perfect because we talked about, I mean, you made a great point earlier, Pengu, about how, do you invest all of your operator bans on one bomb site, like, the Ace and the Hibana, for example, both make it easier to defend top floor, or do you just kind of spread it out? And that's why I think the Azami was so good, because the Azami is the king, or the queen, I should say, on Starfrim. We saw that from Neptune's position before. With no Azami and no castle, you really have to get creative on how you can stay alive in the bomb site after you lose bottom square control. And Neptune's doing that by bringing the clash. Final round of defense, and that cheeky little clash makes its appearance.
It's a great counter pick to the Monty, a great stopper to the push. And again, he's trying to play down the clock. Was Lunchbox last time with Hell Janitors, man. It's Lunchbox now, I don't know. There's just something about it. There's that damn X in his name. Lunchbox holding Janitors in top square. Together with Relays. They have a good crossfire. If anybody jumps in the stock windows, they can hold it together. Because this line of sight on the wall can be seen from Lunchbox right there. Toxic Babe as well. Using things early to stop the push from happening so they can fall back at any moment here. He hears the Monty, second Toxic Babe. Cairo has to walk backwards, cannot afford to walk forward into it and tank that third and final one. But that means when the final smoke is utilized, that surely will mean drop.
You think so? The final gas goes out. He tries to take a fight against the player on the windows. He's feeling a little bit more pressure, but still not completely exposed. I mean, look how comfortable he looks. He's so confident in this position. Relays is rotating over. Lunchbox falls down, but Relays is still upstairs. Trying to buy time. He has one Razor Bloom in pocket, and he's going to get a free kill into Tuhan. EP did not contain relays. As he left stockroom, he found another safe haven, and now he doesn't even have to move Pengu. He can wait here for EP to push him out.
It's such a good wraparound. Lunchbox drops down the hatch. Relays wraps around, and because Lunchbox knew the guy was on CEO Repel, he's gonna make the communications relays, hey, they're gonna wrap on CEO, be careful, watch out. And Kairo's like, janitor clear, meeting clear, the hallway's clear, guys, they fell back, don't worry about it, but they didn't. So it's a great little utilize of lack of information. And look at the drone counter, top right, there are no drones remaining here from an EP. They just have Cairo dry chicken every area with the Clash, or with the Monty, up against the Clash, with 30 seconds left. When you see this, yo guys, we can push square. What do we do now? Heart breach? Yeah, thankfully we got a thermite. We can pop the wall open and try and make a play. We gotta do it very quickly.
It's going to need to be an insane last 15-second push here from EP. And Relays has made his way all the way on for a flank player upstairs. How has he snuck back into the top floor? He can single-handedly pick apart this attack. Lunchbox gets active on the bomb site. The plant will go down, and it's retake mode for the Chiefs, and it's massive! Big flank here from player, and the Clash is still alive. It's only Bappin now. As the shield beset down by Neptune. Bappin has no utility to try and clear it. Finds the first kill. Needs to try and find the second. Can he get the angle onto Neptune? It's a ninja defuse from the Clash. And Chiefs Esports Club are 4-2 at the end of their defense splits.
Wonder how much shit I wrote down, you never broke down. My back used to be up against walls, it's on the ropes now. Fighting for that feeling we had in your Laredo. Back when you saw the thorns on my crown, more like a halo. My conscience punished me for the past while I was out there trying to ball. Bet you seen through the mask, hope I ain't being brash. If I say you could've split it with me, girl, you would see riches with me if you stuck around through the rags. My motivation these days is different. I mostly beat on myself, I don't wanna spoil a couple things I prayed for and was gifted. Just peep the drive, see how I stayed in my lane when they shifted. I knew that time could not erase what my destiny's written. Right there next to these writtens. In my skin and my DNA like the one that was risen. I'm out that grave and I'm where life is the only decision. I'm not alone in my plight. I want you alone for the flight. About to take off in a minute. I dreamed it up. Changed out my lifestyle. New money, nice house. I claimed it up. And that seems enough. But one thing really on me, I'm thinking of. In my sleep, I see new scenes of a just you, me, two rings, no strings to cut. But I don't know what you want. Do thinking of it make me wrong. Then has it been too long? Yeah, still I got my eyes on the prize, nothing else in sight, just tunnel vision. If I got commas missing, I don't know who might come up missing. I don't know who gon' beat her through it. Thought you were at one time, that got proven not to be so true. I got left halfway out my mind, had to gather some things. Rearranging what really matter, kill casual flings. Set the goal and saw nothing after, had to take a risk. Bet on me, cause that's what it will. Before you fantasize of them, you should dream of a better self, and that's for real. I dreamed it up, changed out my lifestyle. New money, nice house, I cleaned it up. And that seems enough. But one thing really on me, I'm thinking of. In my sleep, I see new scenes of a just you, me, two rings, no strings to cut. But I don't know what you want. Do thinking of it make me wrong. And has it been too long?
It's a bit of a scary moment for Enterprise. They decided to take us to Bank, and they are down 4-2 at the end of the first half. And Bank is the most attacker-sided map in the game. That's what the stats from the 6 Invitational said. And we've seen that time and time again in the regional leagues, mirrored in the results. Chiefs are looking a cut above right now. They've built up that momentum after a dominant win over Man LFO earlier today. Enterprise, they come in cold, Pengu, but they also just look like they're not playing their best game. They're so one-dimensional. This is meant to be the OCE super team. How are they getting manhandled by Chiefs?
I can't tell if it's lack of respect for Chiefs, or maybe that Enterprise haven't been tested enough in their previous matches, or whatever it is, but you're right. They're being outpaced, outmatched, and out-strategized. They're not really fixing the problems round by round. They've had one plant going down successfully on top for CO. That was a flawless victory, but other than that, it's been a little bit scrappy the entire way through. And now with Sideswap, you have to wonder, is it gonna get any better? It's gonna be so hard to find 4 victories on defense, and 4 victories will get EP to overtime if we need to go there, or at the very least, it will guarantee them that worst case result. They need 5 otherwise to get that 7th and final victory to take it in regulation.
Are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Chiefs, they're gonna lock in their first couple of operators. They're gonna ban away the Clash and the Kaid. I actually quite like the Clash ban because if I was EP right now, I would want to bring out that operator. It stops the shield pushes. It stops the planting from happening. Gives you information across the board. EP, they ban the Blitz and the Ying in response.
So if I was EP, if I was in the support staff team for EP, I would really love to have a look, break down the games, and have a look at the stats of how many players die not in a gunfight. Because obviously EP win their gunfights. That's what they're good at. But, you know, that round that lost them the end of the half, they lost that not because of a gunfight, but because Chiefs played it smart. Wow. I mean, talking about gunfights. You give EP a gunfight, they pull off insane one-taps like that. You cannot fight these guys. You don't have to fight them. Chiefs have managed to be very successful at avoiding gunfights.
I mean, again, there's a classic Mikasa aka Jigsaw angle where he just like lean one-tap somebody's head clean off. It's player on a Twitch DMR, no less. Like, usually the attacker is wildly favored in that position, but not in this matchup. That's a beautiful tap. And it's gonna give EP a good start to the first defensive rounds on basement. But we're not done just yet. They still got all the power-ups, right? The Grim, the Capital, the Blackbeard, all still in play. And there's less plant denial here from the side of EP than what Chiefs brought. They only have the smoke and the pre-placed Goyo fires. Obviously also a single C4. There is no Tishanga. So if Chiefs can still get into server quickly enough and clear out the Goyo fire, they can still technically go for a plant later on.
Oh, wow. Talk about Goyo fire.
Oh, he dropped the hatch.
Yeah, Chiquina dropped the hatch into barbed wire, into Goyo fire and gas. He's going to find a kill onto Jigsaw. That's pretty good. But he will eventually get traded back by Brendo. A lot of util's been wasted, though. There's a minute to play. And that's the last gas babe utilized by Brendo.
I'm curious if Chiquina intended to drop the hatch. Relays are searching your flank, launch pops on drones. Like, nobody's really able to help him. So he gets one for a trade onto Mikasa. That's great, but what about his teammates? Lunchbox has a shotgun on Hibana and the Baron 9. Not a great weapon for this kind of execute. You got fire and smoke on Nebs' Capital, but nobody can help him get it out successfully, so he's all on his lonesome.
This gunfight could mean a lot here. Oh, Tuhan, you can't afford to lose it. Neptune has been phenomenal today in clutch moments for Chiefs and bring it into the 3v3. It looks
15.
possible. But the problem is for Chiefs is that diffuser is cold on the ground. A spot onto Bappin. Realize does a little bit of damage onto him. Brendo, though, survives for one, and Lunchbox, despite his best efforts, cannot survive inside of the barbed wire. He continues to take damage, and EP win, realistically, just thanks to that diffuser being on the ground in Vault. If it wasn't the case, then there might have been a way back into that round for Chiefs.
That's why I'm not sure Chiquina intended to drop it. If he did, surely not with the diffuser. I think it must have been a small misstep, or maybe he just forgot to exchange the case before he made the play. Because again, him going 1-for-1 on the hatch drop, not bad technically, but with the diffuser, it means nobody else can really play out the round if you're on the attacking side. That's basement with this great opening pick as well for EP. That was a worst case scenario of a round, and it got pretty close.
I mean, you need to be good on your defense when the opposition starts with the 4-2 split, but that's only the basement, Pengu. And of course, we've seen a lot of games where, hey, you win your basement defense, that's all cool and all, and then you go to the 2 other bomb sites on bank and you have no luck whatsoever. Chiefs not only managed to win on basement, they also managed to win on staff room twice.
10 seconds.
Oh, sorry, no. Yeah, they won staff room twice, which means that the only bomb site that EP actually won on the attack was top floor. So I think for Chiefs here, they're like, all right, look, we lost our basement attack, but that's okay. You know, we can change things up. Next, we go to the top floor. This is the most favored bomb site for the attacking side. They're running double shields again. This is crazy from Chiefs. I mean, you lack a little bit on firepower when you do that.
Yeah.
And it does really.
You got plant potential.
It's true, and it gives EP a lot to think about.
There is one small potential problem later on. Mikasa was hiding the Solace in the bottom floor the entirety of drone phase, and if they don't know that Solus exists and they try and go for a plant in the middle of the bomb site, well, you're gonna be met with a scan into impact grenade into death on the site itself. So Jakena really has to be cautious here, try and spot out that final defending operator, trying to figure out what the plan now is actually gonna be. And while you're fighting the Solus vertically, there are 2 C4s, mirror windows, and 3 toxic babes from the smoke. I like how heavily EP have invested into getting utility kills and or plant denial, because they know that Chiefs love to run operators like the Munty when it's left open.
I like the Twitch pick here from Neptune, though. He's getting a lot of information. Though it would be nice to clear some of these mirror windows as well, because you cannot plant if you don't have some way of clearing that mirror window inside Janitors. I assume the second one's in conference looking into Janitors, perhaps to try and support the Janitors player. So Chiefs spent a lot of time repelling on these windows before they finally figure out where to make their incision.
It's a lot of scouting. Not gaining a whole lot right now at the minute.
Okay.
Going out, I mean, that's value. A grenade, boom, get a kill into Cairo. Same way that Neptune died twice, actually. Exact same grenade. Now they smoke off the mirror windows. So in response, the toxic babes are coming out. This is the issue that I foresee, right? Mikasa downstairs on the Solus. If they think that the side is free for the taking and the plan can go down, they'd be wrong. Because there are different win conditions in play from EP, above and below. And I don't think Chiefs have an idea about this just yet.
And player is on this long Kanto repel, which in theory can cut Bappin off in the hallway. Okay, plan's starting to go down. This is where it comes down to Mikasa. Jigsaw below. He's not using his gadgets.
They can't see it.
What is going on? Jigsaw must have used his gadget too early because he didn't have any charge left in the scanner. And now this is essentially an impossible retake. They know exactly where Jigsaw is seemingly. Player is just watching for somebody to be running around down in lobby below. Everyone from Chiefs can jump outside, look for a rappel angle. Meanwhile, Jakena can just feed information to his teammates. Player on the rappel will finally take down Jigsaw, who failed at his job. He had one critical role, and without it, I mean, that was it. That's over. It's GG for Enterprise. This is going to be a 5th round on the board.
Oh, no.
Insult added to injury there as Jakena disrespects Brendo. A refrag will come through, and Chiefs are looking phenomenal today on Bank. They are making Enterprise look like amateurs.
Jesus. So I was watching the utility late around there to see like when the smoke and the C4 was going out, and you're right. Mikasa basically activated the Solus gadget and just let it go dry. He had it on for such a long duration that it expired. And when it fully expires, you get actually a pretty long cooldown upon it. So you can't just immediately hit it back when you get a bit of energy. So they don't really see the plant going down. He had 2 impact grenades. He was right beneath the feet of Munty the entire time in the easiest position to plant denial. And yet, they lose the round because of it. And that is a huge problem. I mean, think of how much foresight Enterprise had that round. They were hiding the Solus in the basement from the beginning of prep phase to avoid all the drones. He was hiding a floor beneath the bomb site the entire round, just not getting into a fight purposefully so they wouldn't know that the Solus gadget was on the board. And then they mess it up. It's the entire round that goes down the drain with that.
I feel like Chiefs are so clear
shame
when it comes to win conditions, which is something that was interesting to hear about from Jakena's interview. He talked about how he contributes, but largely it's also player and relays who do a lot of the calling. Player particularly saying, okay, these are the win conditions for this round. That round just gone by, there was one clear win condition for EP, and it was do not let that plant go down. And the only realistic way to deny that plant was a Solus below. There are so many ways Jigsaw could have played that. You can even overclock your device, which means you see what gadget you're looking at, and then just turn it off and on again. Flick it just quickly. Oh, I don't see the diffuser. Okay, turn it off. Let it recharge. Let it recharge. Do not let it go dry. That is just, I mean, that's how you lose your single win condition.
Obviously the IQ being brought out, so great counterplay once more, denying the information here. Obviously fishing for vert C4. Look at the bottom right here, guys. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 C4s all playing on the very first floor of the map, looking to get at least 1 kill on the floor above them in CEO and meeting offices. So that is, again, very clear win condition, very one-sided. The thing is, if all these C4s don't, well, if they all miss, rather, and you don't get a kill with it, you're actually going to be quite weak. what's the Mossy and Valkyrie gonna give you later in this round? Like, they don't really have gadgets because the Valkyrie comes dead to the IQ scanner. The C4s are gonna get wasted top floor if they were to miss, that is. So they're really dependent on getting a couple of kills or stalling enough time by making Chiefs afraid of entering the floor above them.
The scary moment for EP. Chiefs are looking so confident right now. Brendo, do not overpeak here. He's got a mirror window and he's holding control underneath CEO, where Enterprise are hoping Chiefs will try and enter up above. Now they have done so, but clearly there's not enough information to go for these vertical C4s. Relays finally pops open that mirror window. Brendo is under a lot of pressure. Jigsaw's going to go for a flank at the same time. And he gets spotted and taken down by Player. Huge kill from the IQ. He's going to get swung again, and he takes down his old teammates. Chiefs are handling this aggression from Enterprise oh so well. Now Tuhan is low HP. Player has lapped up this free map control, and Chiefs are starting to tighten their grip. Brendo fights back, lashes out, finds one. Relays needs to try and prevent him from taking any more ground. But he's also being watched by Jakenna up above. Position revealed for Brendo. Numbers advantage still for the Chiefs as they need to try and focus up on planting on the bomb side. But with Lunchbox falling as he tries to drop into the side and Brendo winning another fight, it might just be over for Chiefs in this round. Cairo and Tuhan now try and stand tall against Jakenna. But Cairo is just tucked into this corner. Tuhan there with the pistol. And a big round, a much needed win for EP. Keeps their heads above the water.
Oh, and Chiefs with a very split attack, right? They had the Blackbeard the entire time on the bomb side hatch, and he was going to try and look for a plant play. But let's see you take that Blackbeard for the room cleared player and just try and isolate the players and tell us in archives and get that third and final kill onto Brendo. You can just storm the bomb side right after, but it's a split play. 2 people worrying about the lobby, 2 people worrying about the bomb side, 1 guy worrying about the flank. Chiefs felt so pressured in the server because the new EP were trying to force a play. And because they spread their eggs into too many baskets, they weren't really strong in any one particular area, giving EP those individual gunfights that they're so strong in. And it's Brendo in the end. Picasso is shot down. Shortly after, it's Bappin. Brendo finds 1 and then a second shortly after through the rotate. And that closed the round. Chiefs could not get around victory.
And you really feel like Player had done enough pushing from lobby in that round. But, I mean, credit to Brendo. He did play that late round very well. And that bomb site's actually so much harder to attack than people think. It's funny, that's the one, I know I've talked about ranked a bunch. I never see that in ranked. Because no one bloody bothers to learn how to play that staff room bomb site. But it is so powerful. It's the anchor positions inside of staff room and open area are really difficult to flush out. Because there's actually no vert on staff room at all. You can kind of get a weird angle from janitor's closet through the wall. But it's not ideal. And a lot of the hard to clear positions inside of open area, like on the hatch, are also invulnerable to the vert as well. And I think, look, credit to Chiefs, they locked down the bomb site. Cairo's struggled to get in on that Blackbeard as well. Yeah. Sorry, not Cairo. Player struggled. No, Lunchbox, I think it was. I don't know. Whoever it was on the Blackbeard.
One of the attackers.
One of the attackers.
With the
I get confused because Cairo is the one who plays shields when it's EP's turn on the attack.
Yeah. I think it was Box. Honestly, I'm not entirely certain. But
usually it's Jakenna.
Wherever
He's
it was.
on the shield this round.
On the fuse shield.
Oh, yeah.
Strongest pistol in the game, the PMM. It does like 62 damage a bullet or something like that. Almost DMR level of destruction on towards players' bodies. Not so much the soft wall hatches.
Yeah, not as much recoil as something like the Deagle. Fast reload as well compared to like a revolver.
And it gives you the gadget, which of course Fuse historically a bit of a meme operator, but there are very few instances where that soft destruction comes in handy. For example, if you clear open area and clear Mikasa and make him fall back, you drop a Fuse charge on the A bombs at hatch, you clear every single Guyo canister known to man. Plus, like kind of like a fun small little fact here, you cannot tuber out freeze.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Okay,
he just fused himself.
He's fine. He fused himself. He only got in. He's smiling down the player camp, by the way. But he cannot die. Because Mikasa had dropped the hatch and it's all good, okay? Mikasa has a prep C4 in hand. We're just waiting, looking, goes out, goes deep and doesn't find the pick. That means Jakenna might just live as well. What I was going to say is you cannot freeze the fuse charge. You can actually counter 2-brow with this as well.
Oh, really? That I didn't know.
You can, once you activated like the fizzling charge, you cannot freeze it. Almost like Hibana, where the second you start fizzling the Hibana pellets, you couldn't bandage trick them back in the day when you first came out.
Interesting. I didn't know that. It's a good bit of tech. But yeah, I mean, I thought for a moment that he wasn't going to fuse the hatch before it was opened by Lunchbox, but he is seemingly fusing the hatch. He's just spamming it.
Frozen.
Yeah, it is frozen before it could drill on through. He wants to go for the second one as well.
Then it's gonna continue to go through. So, and even if one cluster charge goes off, it'll often destroy the 2-brow freeze, and then you can just keep breaching shortly after. So, it buys you a good 12 seconds of time actually if you get it off successfully. Hoi.
Here's an angle. We need a fuse charge here on the server hatch, but I think the server hatch is open already.
It's open.
So too late.
How do they push this? Hatch drop and just go YOLO, because like this door, you're not gonna get past it. There are so many lasers.
Yeah, and there are no nades. It would have been nice to have a fuse charge on it. Here comes the EMP and the drop. Another flash to come through. Perfect, beautiful play by Jacana as he drops down, finds the kill with that PMM. However, relays will fall, which means you don't have a Thatcher to try and counter any late round smokes or C4s. Thankfully, there are no C4s, but there are the smokes from Brendo, and they go out in abundance. It's a desperate time now. Chiefs have to go deep for kills, and Enterprise will overcome, tying the scoreline up. Pengu, we're hit at 5-5. Enterprise not letting Chiefs stay ahead of them.
Comes down to the final few seconds. Good use from Brendo there of the Toxic Babes, denying both plant positions by the chassis and the boost spot by the desk, ensuring that there is not going to be a safe area for Chiefs to try and get down that diffuser. I see a bit of a pause here.
I think
Christian Marks.
Kyra called a tactical, I believe. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So attack timeout. Very good. I mean, I was going to say, when you're tying up 5-5, it is time for attack. It is time to talk about what you can do better.
Uh-oh.
What you got to change up. I think it was called but didn't go through.
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah. I think that happens sometimes. The tactical timeout doesn't actually trigger in-game. And unfortunately, now that the round started, we can't pause the game. So the admins will figure out how we play this, whether we let them take their tactical next round or whether we like rehost here. But either way, like the awkward thing is the players just have to play it out, right? Like they just have to play out the round as best as they can.
10 seconds left.
Which means EP trying to defend the top floor with no tactical timeout. That is going to be rough, man. Like, we are going to indeed play this round. I believe we'll take the tactical timeout next round, Pengu. That means Enterprise have to defend top floor with no tactical timeout. Man, this bomb site is not easy to defend.
It is not at all.
Hasn't been won by the defensive side even once in this game, by the way.
Oh yeah, right, because the Chiefs got a clutch last time around. The Solar's not getting the plant denial. Yeah,
it was only won once by Chiefs on the defensive side in the Man LFO game. Out of 4 times the bomb site was played, it was only won once by the defense.
Damn.
So we are going to rehearse. So we will give them the tactical timeout. That's nice, at least. So they'll have a chance to talk about it. I think EP will be very happy to have that. Still, it would be monumental if they're able to win this round.
High stakes 5-5, you're gonna want it. You know, if this is like a blowout 6-1, it's like, let's just finish it 7-1. Let's just keep going, right? But no, this is a super tense match. The comeback is happening in front of your very eyes, and that upcoming round of CEO top floor being so undefendable, it is gonna be the mega break round, I think, for Enterprise.
Can we talk about Lunchbox for a second? We were talking about this in the break.
Why does he keep leaving?
He keeps getting up literally after every round when we go to the player reactions. Lunchbox is always standing up and running to off his desk or something. Like, I don't know. There's no way he's going to the toilet after every single... I don't know. Is he doing weights or something on the other side of his room? Is he lying down? Does he like close his eyes? Like, what's he doing, man? I would love to know.
It's every single round for all the playdays that I can remember that this happens. And he had a bit of a sniffle during the first playday of OCE that I worked, so I thought, oh, he's a little bit sick, he's gonna blow his nose kind of thing. But it's a lot of nose blowing if it's every single map for 3 playdays. I'm curious. Oh, and he's back! Woo! And he's gone.
He's got his water. Maybe he just likes to keep the blood flow going.
He's gone again.
He's gone. See you later, Lunchbox.
Okay. Yep. Go for a little walk. And meanwhile, you got Babin with the mini fridge in arm's reach. He just leans over, opens the fridge, grabs the drink, and he doesn't even get like stand up. He's just locked in his chair.
I love that. Yeah, it's really cool getting to see the different setups from people. Oh, I just noticed Jigsaw. We got to see some of his player lanyards from previous events in the background there.
Oh, yeah.
So I can see that would be the APL finals, I believe. That one that we can see. And behind that, is that the Montreal major, perhaps?
I think it's a major batch, yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like it.
I think that must be the Montreal major that he went to, funnily enough, with the Chiefs about a year and a half ago. What else we got? We got the footy on. Very nice.
As always,
is that
for
the,
Brendo,
is that
yeah.
the Saints? I can't tell. I know Collingwood played yesterday. I'm not really an AFL guy, to be honest.
I feel like everybody collects lanyards, right? Like, do you also have your collection of like?
I do. I have a lot of
Yeah, you
lanyards.
do.
So much so that I had to put them in a box somewhere because they were they were weighing things down. I would love to display them though. It'd be nice.
I have the same thing. I put them on a box. I'm collecting them, and my goal one day when I get very creative and I have a lot of spare energy is to get, you know, people that hang up their jerseys in a picture frame.
Yeah.
I was
you're
gonna
gonna frame
take.
them.
I was gonna frame just like the card that's just like player or cast or whatever.
Yeah.
And just kind of take it off the wire and then like kind of stack them in a way where they're all visible in like one big
I
picture
think
frame.
that'd be cool. Yeah,
sort
big
of
picture
deal.
frame, and then they're all in chronological order for you. So it would start with like
Yeah.
player, and then you see the crossover into caster. And then the
That'd
day,
be- yeah,
the day
cool,
you have
cool.
more caster badges than player badges, you'll probably cry.
We are probably there now, James. Mind you, I was a player for 5 years, right? In those 5 years, in the very first year, I only made a singular tournament. I don't know, it's only 2 tournaments. IEM Katowice 2016 and Year 1 Season 1 Pro League Finals. And then in the second year, that's when we started going, let's say 4 times a year. But for casting, I have been to every single event for 4.5 years straight, with the exception of the Montreal Major a year and a half ago that I did work as a content creator, so I do have a badge, but it
You
doesn't
have
say
like
player.
a content creator badge or something, which is different.
Exactly. So I actually think I'm gonna have the same amount of casting badges as a player, or maybe tied at this point.
Yeah.
And then a few content creator ones as well.
And then for Salt Lake City, you're going to get another content creator badge. So maybe one day you'll have more content creator badges than anything else.
I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy, but no, it's been almost. I've been retired for about as long as I've been a player. I have been a player.
Yeah, that's insane.
We're at that point in time now where Alamau, I'm not sure you saw the stat on Twitter last night, but Alamau is one of the 4 people who has made it to 10 majors or more, or something like that.
Wow.
Alamau, the new guy, right? The up-and-comer IGL, the guy who's still not an OG. He is one of the 4 people in the world still at Cyber who's made it to 10 different majors.
Yeah. It's so funny because, like, even in the OCE region, like, we don't have any of the OGs that were in the scene when I was... Because I started as a player. I wasn't a very good player, but I started as a player before I started casting, and then I was coaching as well. But, like, I guess Mag is the only one that's, like, that OG. But he was even on Xbox when I was playing, so he wasn't even OG to the PC scene. Then you got Lunchbox. He wasn't even born when I was playing this game back in the day. Like, man, you've got, it's...
I found the tweet, by the way.
Oh, please.
It's from Jesse J. Chick, our fellow caster for North America.
Yep.
He said, first 4 players to qualify for 10 plus majors. Do you want to have a guess? I mentioned Alamau.
Okay, Canadian.
No, yes.
Canadian, okay. Alamau,
Yes.
it's just players, no coaches?
Players.
Okay, I don't think did you do 10 majors? You wouldn't have done 10 majors, did you? Because you quit.
No. I did like, what, 3?
Yeah,
I think?
it's because we didn't have many majors
Pro
back
League
then.
Finals is not a major. So the first major was Paris Major 2018.
And then Raleigh, and then we went to...
You have,
Yeah.
I'll give you some hints. We have one more from Brazil, and I did mention it, so it was
Cyber?
So
Yeah.
Alamau Cyber. Then you have an American, and you have a French player.
American and French player. Okay, French. It's Bride for French?
It's Bride,
Yeah,
correct?
okay,
Yeah.
and
And
then-
then I think the American one is actually hard.
The American one. I'm trying to think.
again, it's
I actually have an
Alamau.
idea. Is a curveball. Oh, wait, are they like a
Okay.
Are they like super well known, like a kind of like top 5 GOAT conversation? Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if top 5 go, but definitely well known.
I was gonna say
Definitely,
like
you will know
a
this player.
curveball like Rexon or something like that, because I feel like he went to a lot with Sonics, but I'm guessing it's not Rexon.
No, I'll give you a hint. World champion.
World champion Americans at Faults?
It's false. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Damn.
hell, good job.
Damn.
That's good.
Man, I love...
You caught Brede instantly off the fringe.
Oh, man.
That's
what
great.
can I say? I think I would love
the
to
goat.
play some like R6 Esports history trivia because I think like I know.
You think you could do
I
well
think
in
I
it?
would. I think I would kill that. I do play trivia with some friends. We go to the pub and it's all like pop culture trivia. Like, oh, what actor played in this? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, come on, ask me who won the Six Invitational in 2017 on Xbox and what the score was, and I'll be able to tell you.
Okay. The little niche knowledge that you have, yeah. So it was those four, and then when this tweet was made, it was the 23rd, so 3 nights ago. It was during an NAL play day, and the tweet said, "If Big Bad Nadian wins tonight against 1 of 30, he'll be the 5th player." And I believe they did. So
The 5th player to
5
what?
people
Sorry.
have. So the 5th player to qualify for 10 majors, because it's the Cyber LMR Brede defaults. And at the time of this tweet, it said the 5th player will be Canadian if he wins tonight, but he did. So
Yeah, right.
5 people have only made 10 plus majors.
Damn.
Yeah.
Very competitive line. At the Paris Six Invitational just a few months ago, we did this thing with all the staff where we took photos, like little what do you call the instant cameras?
The Polaroids?
Polaroid. We took these Polaroid photos, and then we would write how many events you'd worked on. And it's like very similar conversation, like how many events have different players gone to. And there are some staff that were like, 20 plus, which is just insane. Like they've been there, the OGs, since the beginning. People like the player managers, for example, that our audience would never get to see. But man, like they have been there as long as anyone else. Like I can think of a few player managers that are, so well known to the players and the other staff that some even decided to marry some players. That's the level that we're talking about.
All right. Yep. No, it's funny because the person you're speaking of, she used to be a player manager back when early on when I was a player, not like the late end, but like 2018 SI, she was a player manager there, and then almost 10 years later, she's still there, going to the vast majority of events. And like you said, she married a player, so.
Decided to marry a world champion. Wasn't you, mate? Sorry, mate.
No, not me. But Fabian instead, my brother in arms, if you will. So Fabian married somebody through C's. How crazy is that?
There you go, guys. If anyone ever tells you that playing video games doesn't get you anywhere, Fabian can say, well, it got him, 3 hammers, world championships, a full-time career, and a wife. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And, don't rip into it too hard. All right, man. It's time to get back into it. We've had our tactical timeout now for Enterprise, so they've had a little chat. We're actually going to change bomb sites, Pengu. This is wild. We are seeing tellers and archives. This is a crazy shake-up from EP.
Okay, so this kind of bomb site requires a tactical timeout because you need to cook. Need to figure out the best strategy for this one and upcoming round, and when you're seeing an operator like the Maestro get into the mix, it's a pocket strat. The only downside for Maestro is that Brava had counters, and Relays have picked up upon that and chosen that operator. How this bomb site of the Arca Steelers normally play out is that you don't really play in the bomb site as a defender. You play in open area, you play top floor, you play kitchen, and you have all these long lines of sight on the soft walls that can see all the way throughout. Then you have information by the site itself. Maybe one guy playing in here like you see now with the castle. So the thing is, bomb site, very weak. So you're playing around the building instead. It's very vulnerable to a plant, very vulnerable to a rush. Let's see how Chiefs can pick this apart. They've already hacked 1 Evil Eye and destroyed 1 Castleberry.
I like it. So quick on the sticks here for Chiefs. It's been quite a long break here. Obviously, the technical timeout into the tactical timeout for EP. That gives Chiefs a chance to talk about it as well. They wouldn't have known that they're going to be going on to attack Teller's Archives, though, unless if they had the most insane read ever. So really quick adaptations from Chiefs. EP built a bit of momentum. They've won the last 2 defenses in a row. First, staff open area, and then lockers. Can they keep that momentum up in this off-piste bomb site?
It's going to be a bit of slow and steady right now for Chiefs. They need to just not bottle this one. When the enemy plays the 4th bomb site priority, it could be the freest round of your life. But if you go a little bit too quickly and don't consider all the options, it could also be the opposite when you get caught by a surprise. We said this earlier, you don't have the most experience attacking the less played bomb sites and scrims because nobody practices these typically. So Jakena player and Relays are gelling together. They have to problem solve. Outcome still could be called.
Ooh.
Bit of damage into Lunchbox. Not feeling too good right now on the Blackbeard.
He's forcing
gonna
that.
go for a plant.
He's forcing that plant down, and Mikasa should be able to see it. I'm not sure he
Don't
did.
think they can
But
stop
they've
it.
managed to find a kill elsewhere. The plant indeed will go down. It's a 5v4 retake opportunity for Enterprise, but they find a second kill in the post plant now. There are no more logic
see
bombs.
it?
This is going to be very hard. Neptune on this prone angle. I mean, it's such a hard spot here. Relays on the prone angle rather. Neptune inside of the elevator. Oh no! Big flank opportunity from Cairo. Hunts down Relays. A second player joins, and Jigsaw helps Cairo to find the kill. The plant needs to be counted here as they find kill after kill. It comes just down to Neptune, and there's no chance now for Jigsaw. Neptune's got two players on the floor, and there's no time for Jigsaw to hit the counter defuse. Neptune goes for it. He finds every goddamn kill. Chiefs Esports Club have pushed Enterprise the distance, and now they have map points.
Ridiculous. You know, it was looking so shaky. There are 3 attackers alive. How can they cover the plant, the flank, and the map control? So they have a player stock in top elevator, Nep, who's like, do I watch the flank? Do I not watch the flank? Do I drop the hatch? He doesn't know what to do. They have a player top square who looks like the guy covering the plant and the post plant, and it's also what EP thought. They sent 3 people, 1 below, 2 above, and they take him out. And then you were thinking, that's going to be the round over. But they had another person. They had a player in lobby who with the DMR Thokobi could see through the bomb side and had visual line of sight to that diffuser, and he found 2 kills. Ridiculous. So 2 people, effectively 2v5 in the post to get Chiefs onto match point and steal back the momentum after a very long, rehost into tactical timeout and then hit the ground running on a 4th bomb that you almost never see being played in professional Siege. And because it's never played in active Pro League, it's also never played in scrims and practice matches. So well done problem solving. EP's curveball does not pay off. You gotta go back to basics.
Yeah, very scary here for Enterprise. They have to go back to staff room open area. Now, they did win this last time, but it was very dicey. Brendo was hunted down and pushed, but ended up finding 2 kills at the end of the round against Chiefs. Now, he was in the instrumental position last time around, but they know about him this time, and they'll be able to try and hunt him down to the best of their ability. Chiefs are set up so well. This is Enterprise's map pick, for goodness sake, and Chiefs have not revealed what their Nighthaven labs looks like so far in Kickoff. Enterprise haven't played it either, so this is going to be a blank slate for both teams. And what we've seen, Pengu, is when it comes down to the strategy, Chiefs actually seem to have the leg up over EP.
No, they do. They're a bit more flexible and a bit more willing, I think, to try things and do the pocket strats and problem solve in a very creative way and not be too predictable. There's also something about Chiefs' ability to set up a play and then 3, 2, 1, now we're going to execute together. And it begs the question, do EP and the server, the players, feel like they need to disrupt them from getting to the bomb site in a 5v5? Or do they feel okay with letting them get there? On the basement bomb site, usually defenders do want to play 5 versus 5, but everywhere else, like open area, top floor CEO, you don't really want that to be the case. But right now, EP, they're not fighting back too much. They're doing that Valkyrie C4 strat, just playing beneath. And now, the missing piece from previously, the Blackbeard is helping push out the roamers and not going straight away for a plant. This is what they were missing.
Nitro tempted here, but Neptune has to be careful. He's walking into a crossfire if he makes his way forward. Oh my god!
He got
a pre-fire! Through the separator there, above the printer, finds Brendo. 2 players in the advantage here for Chiefs on match points. And Enterprise are looking desperate.
Now they gotta have to go for some crazy kills. Multi stuck in the elevator. Surely Hash. I was gonna say an escape plan. I don't think so. He's gonna drop down the Hash off the grenade angle. Almost falls down upon his head, but he stays alive. They know now for a short moment the bomb side is weaker, as there is a player stuck below. C4 goes up, doesn't find anything.
Oh, he needs his kill.
You gotta watch the staircase.
Karigo win this fight, but he loses it. Relays has the control, and 1 by 1 they fall! Neptune wins it with the grenade, and Chiefs have done what many thought impossible! It's 1-0 in the series for the underdogs, the Grim Reapers! of the lower bracket are hungry for more, and EP must defend their Oceanic title next up on Nighthaven Labs. I feel like you need to get around that.
It's a bit of an upgrade. You sure?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, Bappin, for my last question, I actually I dialed up one of your friends, and we had a little bit of a comment from our dear friend and fellow player, Lunchbox, and he had something to say. We were asking him, what he thought about you as a player.
Bappin is Fisher Guy made. So last stage, Bappin didn't make playoffs, so he came bottom 2 out of eight teams, and without Fisher Guy telling him how to breathe, he doesn't know how to play the game.
Take a big bite out of that one. You see all the good red stuff?
No.
Get around all that, all of it. Yep, a little bit of lick. Yep. So, what do you have to say to Lunchbox and the rest of the region?
I think he's right. But I didn't have fish, but I also had president, so it's like two ends of the spectrum, I'm sure he knows he's president's his coach, and that's why he came second.
How you doing there?
It's good.
You want some water?
No.
I feel like you need to really get around this because, oh my god. I really shouldn't have licked it. Can you just do that as well? Can you?
No.
Oh my god. You see that little red bit there? Flip it. Yep. See that right there? I feel like you need to get around that.
It's a bit of an upgrade.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. These first two were.
Yeah.
These first two were piss weak. That third one was serious.
It's not even that hot.
So you played box in stage 1. Bit more of a challenge than you expected, perhaps.
What do you mean?
I mean, he played pretty well, didn't he? The whole team did pretty well.
Yeah, they did alright.
No?
I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with second place. So.
We were second last place a year ago.
Yeah, but now we're up, so it's chill.
Okay. Well, maybe Box is onto something. Maybe Fisher Guy is the difference for you. So what do you reckon is the difference between you and Lunchbox then? As players, your teams?
I think maybe he got reached out to play in my position, maybe before all the stuff was, like trials were going on for AXO. And I think one thing that stood out for him was how immature he was. Compared to me, I'm resilient, I'm humble. I'm mature, I'm better. So like that's why I got the spot over him.
Humble.
And he's
better.
Yeah, he's landed himself a spot in Ludovica. That's pretty good for him.
So, not a fan of spice?
It's not even spicy.
Alright, say that to the camera.
It's not even spicy. Is that it?
Lovely, mate.
Are the best that this region has got to offer.
Well, this heated is getting even more intense than we expect. EP losing their own map pick, and it was a fair game. It was a good showing from these. They have looked like the better team today, and we've seen a whole lot more at Chiefs throughout this entire bracket have from EP, because EP just cruised through the upper bracket. Chiefs have grinded all the way down after losing their first to earn their spot here in this grand final. And let's be honest, Pengu, there's a chance they might earn their spot at the Salt Lake City Major.
And that's the thing that's very important to me, is that Chiefs have played consistently good in so many series. And yeah, they've also had some rounds and moments where they're a bit sloppy and they go max overtime and they throw around that they shouldn't have. But they've been winning at the end of the day. So they go the distance, they play a lot of rounds against a lot of different teams. They've been tested and they've clearly gotten better, and they're learning from that. Meanwhile, Enterprise, nobody's testing them. They storm through a bracket and they don't gotta go back to the drawing board and keep getting better and better and better. So in their head, they'll keep doing the same thing they've been doing. But if your enemies are getting stronger and you're still at the same level, eventually you'll get outpaced. And it feels a little bit like that's what's happening here. That Chiefs are kind of showing us they might just be the better team.
Yeah, unreal though from Chiefs, what we've seen from them, especially in those final couple of rounds. Now, this Archives attack right here, a 5v2. And EP could not successfully retake it. Neptune had to win it in the clutch, and man, he was insane. He has been all day. The whole team for Chiefs have stepped up hugely. Player has had a phenomenal day. Look at him at the moment, 13 kills on that map in just 12 rounds, but even better on Bank earlier today against Manila FR. I think he got 17 kills in that game. Lunchbox is firing all cylinders, 4 opening kills for the team. It's been just such a strong showing from Chiefs. On the flip side, from Enterprise, it has not been good enough.
No, I mean, mind you, Jigsaw, 4 of his 10 kills, I believe, happened the first 2 rounds. And then he died for a couple of times, whatever, a side swap. My point is that Jigsaw started off on his usual heater, getting opening kill, finding engagement, doing good work for his team. But then it almost felt like Chiefs, they were refusing to give those 1v1 early gunfights. And that changed the name of Bank. Because an EP can't just play 5v4 by getting opening pick after opening pick every single time. It's a lot harder to play a map like Bank on defense, where it's not super favorable. So I'm curious to see if EP is going to make some significant playstyle changes going into the second map of Labs, or if they're going to keep them the same thing, where if they don't get their gunfights, they can't win.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nighthaven Labs is our next map up. Now, according to the stats that I've got, this is actually EP's bottom map preference, which is this kind of calculation that I know Fresh and some of the other analysts use to determine whether they like this map. We haven't seen them play it with their new roster, but with their old roster, they lost it quite convincingly to Secret at the Six Invitational, and then prior to that to Weibo. We haven't seen this new Chiefs roster play it either. So it's fresh ground for both of these teams, which means it's coming down to what you've prepared coming into the game, what good strats you've got, and how on fire you are in the server, and most importantly of all, how you can adapt mid-game. And Chiefs have been so much better at adapting so far in map 1 than we saw from Enterprise.
Yeah, I would say so too. I am very curious what happens. Lunchbox has arrived, he was gone, but he's returned again, as he does every single time he's gone.
And that means, oh, he's gone again. But look, we're not going anywhere. In fact, it's time to get into it. It's time to dig into Nighthaven Labs, the second map of this best of 3 series. But if EP aren't careful, it could well be the last. Chiefs have made their way, fought tooth and nail through this lower bracket to earn their spot here in this grand final. EP, surely there was some level of taking for granted that they would be the best team in this region. But there is only one spot at the major in Salt Lake, and at the moment it's Chiefs who are in pole position to take it.
Vicious, what do you target ban? if you want to get rid of something here from the side of Enterprise, do you ban a shield? Do you ban the Ying on the glass? Do you ban double shield? The Blitz and the Munty? So double shield, the double Electro Bros. But this is the problem, right? Chiefs, they aren't like a shield team. Like, sure, Jakena can play it. We think Lunchbox played one round on Bank as well. But it's not that they play double, triple shield, they run you over the player thing. Again, they just like you. It's just like one person tends to play any of the open shield operators. They also play the Capital like every round from Neptune. And it's not like he plays Capital like a super passive player and because of that he doesn't get any kills. No, he plays the Capital and uses the fire and the smoke to great success. He also picks up a ton of kills on this operator. So it's a very high value pick. I do feel like Chiefs are going to have a lot of power-ups here on the attacking side they can utilize. We haven't mentioned the Ying or the Glass. Those will come into action later on. Dokkaebi left open. Deimos left open. Ton of different things. EP, they're desperate for a strong start here in defense because, again, this is an attacker-sided map. You do want to get at least 2 defenses, but again, if you're EP, you're aiming for a 3rd to make it nice and comfortable.
I feel like 2 defenses is not going to be enough for EP here.
No, I don't think so.
I think just as much as it is about defense or attacker favoredness of each map, it's about momentum for Enterprise. And I mean, they had momentum. It was sucked out of them when they failed to win that Archives Tellers retake on Bank. I think had they won that round, it would probably be map 2 right now with Enterprise having won Bank. But instead, we find ourselves here with EP having to fight from behind. The first time they have been pushed this deep so far in Kickoff. Yes, they've had maps taken off them before. Anios took a map off them, but they ended up winning that with a 7-0 on the final map. It's not going to be that easy here.
Let's see. I was going to say, let's see what happens next. There's actually 2-on that takes down Relays in the box. That's a huge value kill. No more destruction from beneath, no more disrupting player positions. And that means that Chiefs might have to go from plan A to plan B instead. As Buck has been one of the pocket picks for this round. Neptune is ready with the Cats of Fire to be used. Not sure exactly where. An air jab on the inside of IG Breach on the door. They're going to take catwalk control with this.
Keeper from Brendo will keep them at bay. And Lunchbox now having taken control of catwalk. They do need to take down the actual gadget from Denari that is creating that tripwire. Just stunning it will not be enough. It'll regenerate after a moment. Looks like it's a pivot now. Lunchbox wants to try and take top blue. But 2-on was playing on the stairs. Big Nitro Cell comes out. Hell of a lot of damage onto Lunchbox. 2-on knows a little bit of damage into his feet.
Hiding the laser.
And the Blackbeard will be done.
Very smart. He was hiding the laser there for a moment, so if Blackbeard walked in, he could then walk away from the laser, and therefore it reappears immediately and could take down Lunchbox. He's on a single point of health. It's hanging at Denari. The Chiefs are fully locked out. C4 takes out a player. A Thorn Trap popped as well. They are stuck in the aqua door and the staircase.
Oh, 2-on's an awkward spot, but he's got support! Finds a double kill with that shotgun. As Lunchbox, injured on the ground, was an easy target. Now, Jakena, the last one. Nice kill, but a 1v5 is not possible. Not at all. Great round from 2-on and from EP as a whole. Those Denari tripwires are forced to be reckoned with, and Chiefs just could not crack into that bomb site.
And now imagine they had catwalk control, IT breach, they are blocking the enemy vertically, and then they're holding the angles from outside the bomb site. That's what Chiefs were trying to do in that round. But the moment Relays dies in that block, they can't do it. So it's a full-on horizontal take in unfavorable gunfights. And yeah, they lost the 2-1 on Aqua, but 2-on played that so well, playing the shoddy. The C4 did max damage onto the Blackbeard. So individually, Enterprise, the better team, strategically had the right tools and played it nice and calm, taking the fights where they had to. It's a bit of a wonky stuff for Chiefs, to be honest, but not the end of the world. That was a good idea. They just couldn't execute because they lost the most important operator in that round. Sometime that happens. But the fact that the idea was good is a great sign for Nighthaven.
Yeah, and I like that Enterprise are bringing a lot of different power ups on the defense. Come round 3, Chiefs are going to have a few to choose from. The Denari probably a tempting ban after how difficult it was last round. But we've also got mirror windows. This is an unusual one because it's exposed to the bottom exo and this long hallway. You can't play on this mirror and fight anyone there. You're going to die for sure. Which means that you have to make sure you retain control of EXO if you are to retain control of that mirror window. So, yeah, interesting new ideas from Enterprise on this Night Haven map.
So we get a little bit of a ram vert destruction there from the outside window, which, mind you, does work both ways. You can't jump in the window any longer, but I assume that Chiefs had no plan of ever doing that. But this is a way to use the ram boogie drones before you gotta make the gunfight happen, so that if Lunchbox were to die, he's already done the majority of the self-destruction. He's now just a gun for hire, if you will. Bappin taking a ton of damage to fall back, or maybe always stays welcome by Soda Machine, we'll see. But with Jaken and the Blackbeard, they should be just making quick work of kitchen, clear the corners, walk on forward, and then see if they can deal with these player positions by Vending Machine.
Yeah, you say quick work, but it doesn't feel super quick for me from Chiefs. At
No,
least they've made
doesn't.
a lot of well-rounded progress. You know, the wall has been breached onto that bomb site now by Neptune. I don't think he's breached Animus, though. Here comes the Blackbeard, though, as Neptune does actually find his kill onto Bappin. He's just come back to support from this window. This is nice. And once Chiefs have EXO control, Enterprise are not going to be able to play on that mirror window that faces the storage stairs.
This is dangerous. Tuan gets the first open pick as well. Blackbeard, he's going to see Mikasa now, but he jumps the hatch instead and falls on back. So this is Enterprise willingly surrendering the map control and playing closer to the bomb site. But now we see the vert, the hatch, and the main breach all opened up. They don't have a ton of strong positions to play in.
Yeah, and Tuhan is a dead man here. Like, there's no way he gets out alive. Surely,
be.
if there are people on the vert above him, which he's managed to retain control of for now, no, he's going to fall back. I mean, this is the problem with this defense from Enterprise. A lot of the util is facing away from EXO.
They gotta start getting a move on. They know everything is clear. They got a Blackbeard. Just walk on down, boys. Watch the hallway. Do not get flanked, please. I beg you. If Mikasa swings this, they might get a freebie. They're not really paying much attention to it, and there is no vertical on the door either. They're gonna go for a plant. Do they have the coverage?
This might have to be a retake. He's going to be able to tank the gas. This is
stick
very
the
much
plant.
going to be possible. He just managed to plant. He might die in the post, but that doesn't seemingly matter. He's going to have to take the gunfight here. Jigsaw, surely the nade comes out, keeps Jigsaw at bay. It's another retake opportunity, but somehow Jakena gets active and finds a kill by walking back inside again. Brendo's in an awkward spot, wants to take out this player outside. Tuhan comes to support, takes down the Blackbeard. Good shot from Brendo. Another big one from Tuhan. It's a 2v1 in the post plan. Player just needs to find this second kill. Not a lot of time left for Brendo. He needs to land this shot perfectly. Can't tuck and hide away behind that shield. Players even got flashes to utilize. The round is a done deal. No retake for EP as player gives his old team a taste of their own medicine.
That is so close for comfort. Oh my god. But again, they stick the defuse and just hold it. Honestly, we're talking 2 ticks away from outright just dying to the gas babes. And then Jakena, Godkena, definitely living up to his name there, walks out, takes the gunfight, walks back in, dukes the toxic babe, dukes the C4, gets a kill, finally goes down, but then they have the post plant on the breach and on the vert. So again, good foresight, good execute, and it comes down to Chiefs having good strategy and Enterprise failing to deny the plant once again. Same issue on Bank, same issue on Night Haven.
I feel like EP are so happy to let it go to a post plant. Maybe they're a little bit too happy to let it go to a post plant. You put a lot of trust in one gas babe to get that kill, but if you're just doing it based on the sound cue, you're probably not going to be able to deploy that in time to actually get that kill. Am I right in that Blackbeard is a 3 armor, or like a 1 speed operator? So he gets the extra health that he can tank an extra, like, half a second of that gas?
Yeah. 3 health, 1 speed.
3 health, 1 speed, which,
so
yeah.
that just generally might have made the difference. I'm not sure the exact number breakdown on like the health breaking points, but that literally might be the difference between planting and dying in the smoke on that specific scenario. Because if you're a 3 health, you gotta pop the smoke the exact same second as the plant starts going down, more or less. Like, you don't have much
7-second
gap?
plant, but you know, if you're trying to beat that with the gas, you know, you need to get that kill in 7 seconds, and there's no guarantee the gas will achieve that. If there was a C4 to follow up afterwards, then that might have done the deal. Even just like 50 damage
had
from
one.
a C4, yeah, it might have made the difference, but not to be. EP need to give a little bit more respect to Chiefs, because otherwise, the spot that they thought was rightfully theirs at the major will go astray.
This location is free of hostiles.
It's not the end of the world to be bad at denying the plant, because if you're Enterprise, you're not supposed to let Chiefs get there very often. But that has been the win condition. I mean, when you have Jakenna playing the shield operators, we all know from the beginning of that round, they're gonna try and play for a plant. When it's Lunchbox playing the shield of Blackbeard, it's gonna be about the roam clear very often. So it's one of those niche cases where you need to take a look at the scoreboard and see what operator is being played, but also which player is on those specific operators. And you can kind of get a bit of a hint onto what the playstyle might be. Enterprise for this one, they got different win conditions. They got the C4, got utility holds upstairs, runic gates for information, the Denari lasers that have been a big problem for Chiefs so far on the attacks. Great counter to the shield as well. It's a very quiet, very slow push so far for Chiefs. They haven't really shown their cards just yet. And they're by the bumps out window, about to jump in on
Oh, here it goes. Tuhan finds one, but traded back. That's a worthwhile trade. Yeah, you lose your Blackbeard, but it's fine. The pulse is taken down. The plan's going to go down again. It's going to be another retake opportunity for Enterprise. Another time where they have the numbers advantage, but they keep failing. These numbers advantage retakes could kill from Cairo. He needs to wait for the rest of his team to shape up a 4 versus 2. As a Jigsaw will go down. Neptune on the top floor. He has been so phenomenal for Chiefs today. It's going to be another 1v1 with Brendo trying to take this fight.
Oh my
no
God,
one else supporting him. Neptune keeps on peeking away. He gets the best timing possible. And that timer is ticking away. Big kill now. And it's time for Cairo to try and deny it. Going for the swing. Bappen finally gets the kill. And for what feels like the first time in a hell of a long time, Enterprise succeed on their bomb site retake.
Oh my god, the timing on top floor is dancing back and forth on the wall. We're talking one gunfight goes a different direction, and that round will either be Chiefs or Enterprises. At the very end there, I think there are a bit of nerves in the server, because when you get that 3 versus 1 as the Thermite player outside the building, your teammate dies upstairs. Well, if you kill the first guy going for the defuse, the mirror, which he does successfully, you don't have to swing for the second gunfight. The last defender is going to be top floor, they can't cover each other, and the timer was slow enough. When your body is full of adrenaline, you're gonna make a wrong decision here and there in that split-second decision-making moment. And player might have done it. If Nep wins this gunfight, it's wraps. If player kills the mirror and walks to his right-hand side and gets off the angle, they probably win on time.
That's so
as
true.
Brendo couldn't get back to help his teammate.
That's so true.
And
There was
the tiniest details.
11 seconds left, and he kills the player on the defuse. Like, that means there's 4 seconds to get on that defuse. And like you said, he knew that Neptune had just died upstairs. He should have and could have just tucked away.
We could have. But again, we're sitting here, you know, watching top down, no emotion. When you're in the server, keeping track of the exact timer, the exact player locations, when you're gonna swing, you're gonna be so much more emotionally invested and stressed. And that is probably what's gonna cause the difference in judgment there of what the right play is gonna be.
It's also the kind of thing that sets apart, you know, your players like Player and your players like Handy and Cyber and Leakafak and Joom. These players, they are so cool and calm in moments of intensity like that.
The first point I made beginning of last round was that if Enterprise's only weakness is letting Chiefs go for a plant and not be able to deny it, it shouldn't be the end of the world. The thing is, if Chiefs keep planting, EP needs to be worried about it, because they arguably should have won that post plant as well, and then they start leading 2-1. So EP need to get better at denying this damn diffuser when Chiefs try and go for it. They can't keep letting them get away with it.
Ooh, nice bit of damage. Wow, aggressive swing from Bappen. I quite like that. Question marks for his former teammate trying to get back in his head. Noob. Okay, bro. What year is it? Are we still saying noob? Are we still saying that these days?
Yeah, sometimes. I think the old guard, they'll bring it out to see if the young kids, they still recognize that word, you know?
I think Bappen is one of the young kids, though.
Yeah, well, there's someone younger than him, I'm sure, but I get what you mean. I feel like it's making a comeback, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it is. I'm down for it.
People
Enterprise.
say bot these days, right?
Bot, yeah, they do.
You're bot.
Enterprise is certainly making a bit of a comeback here. A good opening kill. And a lot of vertical angles as well. They're really keen to try and prevent Chiefs from getting in downstairs below the bomb site.
Finally, we get the block verticality, but there are pre-made holes by the defenders to kind of cut them off. Kyra takes a lot of damage, but stays alive. It's very important. Keep that numbers advantage. Relays, though, needs to be the hero, and it's too late. He goes down, as does Jakena, leaving just Neb and Lunchbox in bad positions. Very hard to win this round in a 2v5. They got plenty of time to work with, but not the positions to make the play.
And this is where Enterprise look at their best, when they just play aggressively and swing. When it comes to playing smart, Siege, when it comes to countering your opponent, bringing the right operators to the table, bringing the right util, no. That's not Enterprise's strong suit, but just going for swings, that works for them. A Lunchbox now trying to make his way, trying to fish for a few picks. C4 is going to make that very difficult. Neptune, 1v5, time to pad the KD, won't get a chance. Enterprise, flawless. And they are starting to build their way back into Nighthaven Labs with 2 defenses in a row.
This is the thing about maps like your Border, your Chalet, your Nighthaven is it can just very quickly become like a frag fiesta where it's just all about taking the fights and all about just forcing 2v1s and defense. And Chiefs have to be careful. You want to try and fight back in a 2v2 or like they have in the past, utilize the shield operators because otherwise you're going to be on the lower chance at winning in those individual moments. And this is maybe where we start seeing the triple down on shield bans come into effect because both Blitz, Monty, and the Blackbeard are all removed from action. If you want to play a shield, it's gotta be Fuse Shield. The only person that we know can play this comfortably is Jakena. But when Jakena plays the shield, it's not about the roam clear and the map control and the killing, it's about the plant. So you can't get that roam clear help anymore that same way. But that's when I want to go back to a point that we made in the very beginning of this map. What about the Ying and the Glass? Right? We haven't seen any of those operators being banned away. You also have the Grim for constant red ping information. And we've now played 4 full rounds entering the 5th. And only just now, Lunchbox will lock in the Glass operator. That can make or break this one. Because there's no counterplay. There's no Warden. There's no Bulletproof cameras. It's just going to be C4s and Toxic Babes that can try and deal with the smoke grenades.
Another point, though, about banning the shields is it also bans out a 3 health operator. And we don't see Chiefs. That's their main default choice for their support player to play. Like now, Jakena is on Thermite. If he's the one planting, he has slightly less health than he would if he was on a shield. So he might not be able to tank quite as many seconds of the gas babes, which in some rounds do make the difference between whether that plant goes down or not. Come on, mate. There we go.
Okay, you got it. Oh, please. Imagine he peeked the drone and then dies to the door angle afterwards. That would have been GG round over, mental moment.
That would be a big question mark from the Chiefs.
There we go. Finally gets the drone. As much as we can meme on Babin struggling to get the drone kill, it is wasting an attacker's time as well, just as much by continuously being on the drone. Not that the attacker might be needed right now, but they're quickly in meeting, getting the verticality done without clearing the staircase itself because the wall is double reinforced. The problem with this bomb site can be finding a pick, because there's a lot of vert, sure, but there's a lot of different spaces on defense where you can't really be seen from the verticality. So you gotta see Chiefs force the problem. Smoke grenades, glass in the building, Goya 5 pop them response, Toxic Babes as well, and just shooting straight bullets and doing a bit of damage on Lunchbox. But once they run out of smoke grenades, the push kind of dies. So this is a worthy trade, and they get a C4 kill onto Nep.
Yeah, this is great. Nice curveball thrown by Enterprise going to this very unusual bomb site. As Cairo actually finds the kill finally onto Lunchbox. The Glaz is gone, and Box is yet to find a kill. Cairo, he might be on the floor, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to finish this off anytime soon. And Chiefs don't have a clear way into it. Jigsaw peeks for another kill. With that Valkyrie, the MPX so deadly on his long angle all the way from vending. Finally, Cairo finished off by Jakena, but it's a 2v4. I don't think that Enterprise are going to let Chiefs get the plant down this time.
Oh, they are surely not. They got a huge advantage in terms of player count and positioning. However, Mikasa goes down. Still got a C4 and 2 and final smoke screen from the Thermite. Player has to link up with his teammate up to Ken and try and make a play together.
Oh, good C4. Well done from Tuhan. Now player desperately needs to get around it. 1v3, not a lot of time left. He doesn't have that diffuser, and he walks straight into Brendo's waiting arm. It's a slew of rounds in a row for EP, 3 straight. And they really have begun to assert their dominance on Nighthaven Labs.
I mean, at least they got the first map with Chiefs, right? No matter how much pressure you might feel in the server, worst case scenario, you go, hey, we won their map. They're gonna win ours. We gotta settle it on the third decider or fortress. So you always have that to kind of fall back upon. Where if you are Enterprise and Bank, you're thinking, okay, they're taking our map. Now we're going to theirs. How are we gonna win that? Snap. So absolute worst case, you do have that parachute if you're Chiefs. You also got side swap coming up. If you can get this final attacking round, go 2-4, and then just, you know, go really crazy on defense, again, it's super playable. It's the matter of the unknown of, are we good on defense? Can we get those couple of rounds? Versus Enterprise saying, yep, we know for a fact we're going to get 4 rounds minimum, and we're pushing for a 5th. So that's going to give you a very big instant confidence booster versus a potential long-term gain of confidence.
Well, it's the last round of the half, so last chance for Chiefs to get back into it on the attacking side. And they're going to, again, a tertiary bomb site. I like that EP decided not to go back to the base. It's the only bomb site Chiefs have won.
It's been a little bit slower pace as well for Chiefs compared to previous maps. Their Consulate earlier, their Bank earlier. Against Man and Foe. They've been a little bit quicker in the building and taking map space, and they've been struggling a bit here on Nighthaven, specifically. Getting 2 rounds stalled out now by Mikasa. It's gonna stall for a good 30 seconds total, give or take 10 seconds per 2 brow freeze. There's nothing they can do about it. You just gotta say, guys, please wait, I'm breaching, please. Oh, he gets caught!
Alright.
Jakena, but the pull shut in the window. I mean, he has technically popped the thermite charge actively on the wall, I believe, so it will open, but you still have no more proper hard destruction, just the can openers. And that's gonna give you a line of sight, but not a good way into the building.
Oh, fire comes out. Neptune desperately needs to find this kill. Oh, great work from Relays. Cuts off Tuhan, who tries to go for a close range swing. Chiefs might have a way back into it on the back of that kill. They've shut down the top fragger here from EP. And the Solid Snake's getting information as well onto where the Azami is, but Brendo swings straight into him. Another 2v4. The Chiefs, they're looking to try and find this plant. Now they're baiting it. They're dropping the diffuser, pretending that they're planning to try and bait the Solus. Doesn't seem to work, and the DMR does not win against Jigsaw's DMR. Relays now with 2 flashes and 2 air jabs. Has every way of winning this as he swings the angle. Needs to get the better of Cairo, and he will. 1v3, not impossible. But trying to plant here is going to be nigh improbable.
If you can find Mikasa on the vert here and beat him in the gunfight, that'll open it up for a potential plant. But the issue is he lacks information. Has 2 air jabs in pocket, has a flashbang. It's super playable. It has to be super clutch though.
And there isn't exact information here for Jigsaw up above. Wow, he lands a big shot. Tiny bit of HP left, and Brendo will spray down and finish off Relays. It is, in the end, a very dominant half in favor of Enterprise. Exactly what they needed. A 5-1 start to Nighthaven on defense as they move into the second half, looking to push us to Fortress.
Oh boy. Now, the question is, how can Chiefs bring this one back? Because you're going to try and learn as much as possible throughout this best of 3, right? They're struggling with the current aggression and fighting back playstyle from EP. So Chiefs can spend the next couple of rounds now just kind of further talking about what do we do if they go for this? What do we do if they go for that? Because you just need to set yourself up for Fortress. Also, getting a couple of rounds on the board, it will drag out the series a little bit. And mind you, Chiefs have played a full BO3 before this. Granted, it's a pretty quick 2-0. but you can afford to spend a couple of rounds, go deeper into Nighthaven, get more confidence, learn a bit more, and then go on to Fortress. However, if this goes max OT and Chiefs were to lose, we gotta start talking about the energy reserve left here for Fortress if it goes the distance.
That's a hard conversation, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
we've talked so much about how that momentum seems to advantage teams that come through the lower bracket and play 2 BO3s in one day. We've seen so many teams successful when they have to play 2 BO3s in one day. You know, most notably, I guess, at the 6 Invitational, Team Secret running through that lower bracket ended up getting the better of Falcons in the lower final and to earn their spot in that grand final. It's not the only team to have done it. It's happened in a lot of the regional leagues as well. But now at the halftime role swap timeout, Mag gets a chance to talk to the EP boys. Yes, good start on Nighthaven Labs, 5-1. Can't afford to let it slip.
I'm sure Mac is very happy with the boys after a very stressful map off bank. They're looking back in full control here in Nighthaven. It's getting quite active. It's this new halftime vibe check, you know, the 2-minute swap on side swap. I saw a bit of a debate on social media from Super, I believe, actually, over in the NAL, saying that he didn't believe that it was like necessarily needed, because a good coach will say what he has to say before the game starts, and a good player will remember what they said and won't need to like freshen up. And a lot of different coaches kind of tuned in with the different points, and it seemed very split from very many different regions and teams on whether it's a very welcomed addition, whether they don't care about the addition. But I quite just liking seeing more from the coaches on the player cam, seeing how active they can be and how much they're talking, kind of getting a check on the emotional state of teams as well. You know, are players looking super out of it, or are they looking locked in?
Yeah, I'm sure that Super is... a lot of people that would disagree with Super and very happy to get every chance that they can to talk to their players.
Right?
I guess it also just means that coaches can be more liberal with their tactical timeouts, which is always nice. They feel less like they have such few available. Last few chances to talk to their team, get them back into it. I mean, so much of Siege these days is not just about what you come into the game with, but what you can do mid-game to adapt to your opposition. I mean, with repick, with so many different power ops on the board, so much of it is about adaptation. Chiefs failed to adapt in that huff.
Seeing her again, Electro Boost being banned away. I miss seeing bandit tricking, man, I gotta say. I am a big bandit enjoyer. Like the whole Sophia below, bandit the wall, or the EMP and the capital, the, you know, Selma with ace on one wall and thermite the other. I love all the different creative ways of exploring the bandit counter. But I also get it, with this new operator ban system, you can just ban them both and not have to deal with that at all, because if you do get bandit tricked, you can't breach, and then the round is kind of cooked. So you're better off guaranteeing that the first step can be achieved, so you can actually go and work towards the second step. 2-round spawn peak snap off the rip in the first 20 seconds. Question mark the in-game chat. It has been a bloodbath here in Nighthaven Labs, and it's only going to continue to do so. Because Enterprise, they have the answers.
Yeah, and Nep was such an influential player, not just on Bank against EP, but in both of the maps against Man LFO earlier today. Definitely a big player to take down. Also Azami, I mean, that's regenerating util, the only one of the defenders whose util dies with him.
Immediate area.
So it's time to get a little bit desperate now if you're Chiefs. You can kind of try and go for anything. You can change the parameter of your risk assessment and say, guys, normally we wouldn't make this play, but let's try it. You know, if you see a gap, see an opportunity on defense, go for it. We can't really depend on playing for a late round, you know, planting out with that 1C4. The second they hear that the Monty's in the map, they're gonna start fearing the late round. At least they should fear, because block below, Monty on side, Grimpy, Solid Snake, like they have so much information.
Yeah, you're right. Chiefs really do have to force the issue earlier in the round rather than letting it come down to execute here with how much util EP have on the board. Tuhan's also having an absolute ripper. 11 kills after finding that spawn beaker. No direct counter for that mirror window, though. I think they're just going to have to smack it with Cairo.
This is the counter. Bonk. Just slams the mirror window. I mean, that's the thing. There's almost no mirror windows in the game that is commonly played where Monty can't just walk up and smack. It's why the Monty ban is so common. Okay, that's an angle.
Yeah, player has been shut down. Both him and Neptune have been the two big hitters for Chiefs across the series. Great work, though. The double peak from the Monty and Brendo behind him. A dominant start to the attack half for Enterprise. 6-1 up, and now 5 map point opportunities to send us to Fortress.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Again, you have your halftime vibe check. You get 2 minutes with your coach. You call the strat. You go for a spawn peek. You get punished, and the round just falls apart step by step. As I said, there's 2 ways to this. Chiefs can lose quickly and reset for Fortress, or they can lose slowly and they can just kind of burn through the energy deposits, hopefully learn a bit more before they have to go to that third and final map. It's a major on the line. Like, it is so important how each and every single round is played, but right now you're so far behind that can you actually get this comeback? Do you believe in that comeback? Well, I don't think it matters so much whether you believe right now. It matters what you think of your odds on Fortress. You need to think about that third and final map more than anything else, because that's the benefit of winning the first in a best of 3. It doesn't really matter for you what happens in the second.
But I can't deny, like, maybe Chiefs are a little bit nervous to go back to Fortress. We casted their 2-0 win over Shy Academy, 8-7 Consulate, 8-7 Fortress. A lot of very tense rounds. They only barely won it. And even in that final round, Pengu, we thought that they were going to stall out on that attack through Furnace as well. So if you're a Chiefs player here, you're probably pretty scared to go back to Fortress. On the flip side of that, though, maybe you can take a little bit of confidence knowing that up until today, the only map that Enterprise had lost in the upper bracket was playing Fortress, the team Anios. So, if anything here, Chiefs, you know, while they do have some skeletons in the closet on Fortress, they probably just need to think, guys, we can do it. Like, they're not unkillable. We've proven that on Bank, and Anios proved that they weren't unkillable on Fortress either.
So opening pick, of course, going to be the big focus point for both teams. Who can start off stealing that bit of momentum in the server, who can get the upper hand. Seeing some C4s being brought, the Valkyrie cameras, the mirror windows, the smoke grenades. Again, tons of different utility and plan denial for Chiefs to try and get a kill, try and play the late round. But it's also why AP they've chosen roam clearing operators who's based on the attack. They got both the Deimos, the Dokkaebi. So if you're Nep, you gotta really be careful. You see me will pop the wall behind him with the impact grenade and help him get back towards that bomb site.
Big kill for Brendo, looking for a second player. We'll trade it back. That's worthwhile for the Chiefs, except for the fact that Lunchbox is not only down but also out. A kill with the boss chief from Cairo. Not every day you get to see that. And the Vert has been really leaned into here as well by EP, with Jigsaw's Ram Drone opening up a lot of avenues. Not only the Deimos, but also the Dokkaebi call puts Relays under a hell of a lot of pressure. EP hunting him down. He just wants to take a fight, but even going 1-for-1 here is not enough. It would leave the 2 players closer to site in a 2v3. Bappen's going to go again. He's actually going to go into the castle this time. Means he doesn't know about
that might
Relays.
He's gonna fall back regardless. I feel like you can kind of, you know, bait this kind of push. That's better. Hiding by the boost spot on the vending machine.
It's risky.
His barrel might be sticking out with that suppressor. Has to be careful of that. But if he finds the freebie and then falls back towards the bomb side, I mean, that could be everything for this round. But meanwhile, Jakina gets injured, takes a ton of damage, and confirmed by Cairo. And now they're going to start planting.
Yeah, this is great from Cairo. He knows how to entry and then immediately go for a kill. I believe player's been spotted on this cross. He has indeed. Tuhan's got the line. Locked on down. It's Relays in a 1v4. Cairo on the floor, but it doesn't matter. Bappen's got the info on him with the dead Dreadmark. And look at that. Enterprise. A quick reply after what Chiefs were able to achieve on Bank. It seems like EP still want to have a conversation about who the kings of this region really are. A 7-1 smattering of Nighthaven Labs leaves nothing but Fortress remaining to determine which of these 2 great teams goes to the major.
Army Cadets. I had a long think about it, and at the end of the day it was pretty easy to me since I like shooting games and shooting movies. Army Cadets was a big part of my early teenage years. I spent time there and learnt from people how to lead tactical maneuvers. I taught the recruits as a corporal as well, you know, having them under my wing. My two favorite things about the Army Cadets was definitely shooting guns and going on week-long camps. In these camps, we would set objectives that we had to do during the days, while the corporals and lance corporals had to lead the recruits around. We did a shooting competition with many regiments coming down, and I essentially got like one of the highest scores. Fun fact is the gun that I was actually shooting was an AUG style, which IQ uses. Not the commando, the AUG, the worst weapon. At the start of these camps, we wouldn't bring any food. We would rely on ration packs. They're a day-long meal that you would have. We had to create our own fires to boil the water to put in our food, which is pretty neat. So yeah, we have all these survival skills taught to us. The skills that I learned from the Army Cadets was definitely being a leader. To this day, I use my knowledge of how to talk to people and be a role model for people, in Siege in my current teams. I'm the captain of Ludovica, and this is something that's come natural to me. When I was essentially about to turn 18, you're not allowed to continue Army Cadets. You have to go to the next level, which is the actual army. So I had a difficult choice to make. Essentially, I was going to commit my life to that, or go the normal route, which was uni, school. So yeah, I chose the job over the army, but to this day, it still interests me. After I finish my Siege career, I'll definitely reconsider going back into it. Seeing the tactical nature and the competitive nature drove me to become, or try to become, a competitive player. The tactical maneuvers and problem solving that I use in my cadets, I could suddenly use it in Siege. Suddenly my two worlds collided. With Sawyer and Edpan, we sort of saw the game the same, but they actually showed me different aspects that were more intriguing to me, like the Brazilian play style of surrounding and killing your opponent. We would do a lot of deceptive plays and trick your opponent into thinking you're pushing somewhere, but you're actually pushing here. A different version than I saw in Pro League. With Sawyer and Eddie, I was in Ludovica with them. We came top 2 in CL, we came top 4 in LPL Pro, and we were doing essentially pretty well. We were scrimming against the highest teams you could, and we were actually placing well against them in scrims. With this team, we scrimmed and we saw results, and eventually we made CL, and we actually came top 2, and we actually made it into Pro League. With this team, we grinded our asses off. I'm pretty sure we didn't have a single break. We didn't take breaks Saturdays or Sundays. We'd come home from work and go straight on it and just problem solve. We went through some hardships, man. We made roster moves. We made hard decisions of like who needs to fix their problems and who doesn't. We had to make hard decisions, to progress our journey. Through making changes and all the work we've put in, we finally found results versing and scrimming the best teams in OCE. So that eventually gave us confidence to play CL and come top 2 and eventually make it into T1. When joining OCE T1, my standards were set with the Brazilian EU sort of style of Siege. With Ludovica, from day one, we started following this. As soon as we caught eye on how well they were doing compared to the APAC region, we started following them, and eventually we started beating teams that we shouldn't have beat. Essentially, they started copying how the Brazils played because of how we were playing the game and how we were destroying them, even though we had the worst players than them and we put less time into it. We were showing a different type of Siege that they're called Troll. So eventually, the teams that needed to make a change were looking for them to make a change. So I tried for Chiefs and I actually made it in, but I had a job. So the condition was to join that team. They didn't want me to have a job and play Siege because they thought it was going to burn me out. Sadly, I had a long talk with my parents and I actually had to decline it because in the COVID era, jobs weren't easy to come by. So yeah, that was tough for me. Going since 2017, grinding my way all the way up to T1 just to decline an offer. However, I went back to Ludovica and went back to the boys and, we're working hard again, doing the same process as before. And eventually, I was dropping a lot of kills against Wildcard. And they actually recognized me, they gave me a trial. With what happened with Chiefs, they understood that I had a job and they were actually okay with it. So I trialed and actually made it through. They brought me good joy because I could now finally play in actual T1 rather than OCE T1. All that hard work eventually paid off and I get to play against the best APAC players. Coming into the grand final, we had full confidence in ourselves. You know, we saved our strats from the Japan qualifier, and we had our map pool set for the BO3 major qualification. That's essentially what only our eyes were on. So we got it done. We won. We celebrated. After that last round in the grand final, this is later, my brother telling me, but he started jumping up and down when we won. He came downstairs and he got the okay, and he actually, you know, came and gave me a massive hug. Oh, fuck. That was sweet, brother. Oh, sorry, boys. Yeah, me and my brother are really close, so I go to his footy games every weekend and we support each other, so he can come and... Oh, shit. Yeah, 5 years, you know, grinding towards the goal, and you finally hit that goal. The brother... Oh, shit. Nah, cut that. That's good there. As soon as I made we made the major, we got straight to prep. The boys, you know, put their game modes on. We talked to the org, and the org got us a boot camp a week before at the Bliss HQ. So we went up there and started grinding, man. You know, we wanted to perform well. We just didn't want to just go there and just do what all the other APAC teams did before and just perform crap. You know, we wanted to emphasize that we are a good team and we deserve to be, you know, at the top. We really wanted that main stage, but we came short, unfortunately. And one of the big takeaways for me personally was meeting all these players that I looked up to along my journey, and watching, you know, Pro League matches and actually meeting them was awesome, man. Me shaking their hands after losing to them, like Liquid, you know, we lost and we shook hands with them, you know, that means a lot to me as well, man. Now after being at the major, my eyes are set on making another one. I want that moment again with my family and my team. It doesn't matter if I have to do it with a different set of boys, I need to get that done again. So that's the #1 priority for me this year.
the best that this region has got to offer.
Chiefs upsets the Kings of OCE in the first map, but don't worry, EP got back into it very quickly. A dominant 7-1 in the second map on Nighthaven Labs sets us up for a banging 3-map grand final. Pengu, at this point, it's very hard to predict who's going to take it when we go to Fortress.
It really is. I mean, the newest map in the game as well. How well have they, been studying this? Did they both expect it going into this best of 3? Because it could have been a curveball from either side. Because going into a map leader in a best of 3 or a best of 5 as well, it's a bit of a cat and mouse game. Who's gonna go, or almost more like a game of chicken, maybe I should say. Who's gonna ban that one map that we're not sure about? Are they gonna do it? Do we have to do it? All I do know is this. Chiefs, they're the real deal, and they can fight back against EP. But when Chiefs can't win individually in some of those gunfights, when they fall to the aggression of Enterprise, it's wraps. That Nighthaven Labs game right here, they didn't have a fighting chance. Lunchbox, who was popping off on Bank, went 1-8 here.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody even went positive. They were individually struggling and as a team.
And you can see it in the results. I mean, EP ended up winning 6 rounds in a row, 4 on the defense and then 2 on the attacking side, just to close up on Nighthaven Labs. It was a far cry from what we saw on Bank, which was very much a back and forth game. And Chiefs, overall, a lot of those rounds looked a lot better from them. There was a clutch from Nep, obviously. There were a lot of tight moments, but realistically for Enterprise, I mean, that was a much more dominant map. It's funny, actually, I'm looking back, the only round that Chiefs won on Nighthaven Labs was actually a clutch from player. It was a 1v2. So that really,
the in the post plan.
exactly. That really does let you know and emphasize how much EP were locked in on map 2. Can they continue that form into Fortress? Well, they're going to need to, because there is a spot at the major on the line for the super team in OCE. Nothing but a championship is acceptable. Nothing but going back to the international stage is something that they are happy for. They will need to go every single round deep in this game. They will need to pull out all of the stops. Every single bit of prep that they have done leads them to this moment to qualify for the major or to go bust. And Chiefs are looking to place spoils.
The Chiefs on attack and EP on defense. Arbiter bands are flying through. It's going to be Electro Bros. Yep, another game, another map, another case of Bandit and Two-Brow banned away with Monty and Glass targeted in response. I love the Monty ban here. Again, Jakena has been so efficient on it. Chiefs as a playstyle revolves around information and being able to assess how to pick apart the side execute. Okay, earlier we saw some wonky bombs that start. What about this one, James? We're starting in kitchen. You got 2 top 4 bomb sites, which typically and statistically are very, very strong and favorite. Yet, we opt to go down here. What did you mention earlier when talking about this map on Nighthaven? How Chiefs were struggling on the first attack, how they were falling out, how in the very final round it looked like they weren't going to win it. Well, how about EP? They start there.
Yeah, it's a great idea here from Enterprise. They obviously would have seen Chiefs struggle on this bomb side against Shy Academy. They're taking a little bit of inspiration from that game and looking to change things up. Even just the fact that they've got a rotate hole into Furnace instead of having it fully reinforced shows that EP have a little bit of a different interpretation of this bomb site compared to some other teams. But Fortress is a huge map, Pengu. There's a lot of verticality on this bomb site. There are a lot of horizontal ways to attack it, and it looks like EP are spreading out as much of their presence to prevent any quick map control from the Chiefs.
As they should. And the benefit of betting out the Monty is that it's gonna be a little bit easier to be in a solo roam. Of course, you do have to respect the Blitz if it gets picked up, but Blitz is much easier to deal with. A simple impact grenade can, of course, win that gunfight. An Ella mine, the Nari laser, even the fire extinguisher or gas canister on a wall can easily make you take out the Blitz. So they should have the confidence. Plus, with how one-sided Nighthaven Labs was, if you're an Enterprise player, you're feeling mighty good about yourself right now. So Chiefs gotta shut that down, change the momentum, and gain back their own confidence. And the best way to do that, start off strong the first round.
Good map control. Good breaching. Time to open up this floor as well from Nep. with the Ram really expose these positions on the bomb site. And they are key for a post plant, which has been the name of the game here for Chiefs. EP love to let that diffuser go down and then go for a retake. Doesn't always work for them. Jigsaw has spotted that air jab, somewhat preventing his flank. He doesn't necessarily know there's a player on the other side of it as well.
Nice and steady.
Oh, he now knows.
He sees the air jab as well, surely. Or you can assume that it's an air jab. So if he goes for this, yep, can impact it, look forward, run on out, get a freebie. Yep, caught by surprise. Huge punishment from Mikasa. Now he knows what the other air jab is, and he's probably going to be figuring out that, hey, they're going to be looking for me. I'll stay back. I'll waste more time.
That's a great showcase of how to use a Solus to find people on their drones. I mean, the patience there, and then the ability to just go for a backstab. Is that ram drone going to clear the lasers? I feel like it won't.
I don't know, but it's going to go down that hatch, and we're going to see what happens.
I don't know what happened.
Tried to do it. I think it missed.
Did it miss, or did it perhaps only get one of the lasers and then get destroyed? I don't know. Cairo finds Jekena on the blitz, and that is a very pivotal piece of the Chiefs' attack gone. However, big shot from Player against his old teammate. He's about to, however, walk into a crossfire. Brendo knows exactly where he is. As long as Brendo doesn't move a muscle, Player shouldn't know unless he gets out the gadget. No, but he's got an inkling, so he brings out the gun, and Nade will finish him off. This is now winnable for Player and Lunchbox, but they don't have that diffuser, and they need to desperately move into the bomb site together. Lunchbox coming from Furnace into Kitchen, Player coming from the other side, and there is just no time remaining. It'll be a 1v3 that Player will find nothing for. Enterprise lock in a very comfortable and considerate very first defense on Fortress.
I really respect that they go to the tertiary bombs at first. You know, if you're going to match prep, you're not going to be talking about what you think is the least likely outcome. So let's say you're a coach or a player here, you talk about Fortress, you're going to go, guys, okay, we want to take the thing to talk about last is the thing that happens first. So maybe you start talking about tertiary. When they play tertiary, they play this way, okay? And then they're gonna play on the secondary bomb set, they're gonna play like that. And you finish the conversation on the first bombs that you expect to fight, which is either up here in Kid Storms or Games Room or whatever, or it's gonna be an office across the map. So you're kind of setting yourself up to fight in order. When your opponent plays out of order, the whole match prep, it kind of goes backwards, and you gotta play up against the bomb set that mentally you just haven't really prepared for. That plus, like you mentioned before, we know Chiefs, they struggle on that tertiary kitchen bomb side. It was something that happened in every single series they played Fortress thus far. And same result. A lot of map to clear, a lot of flanks to watch, a lot of bomb side to pick apart, and they don't get it.
I feel like the size of this map does lend itself to the defense, but perhaps it comes down to bomb site choice. On the top floor, it's much easier to go directly to those attacks. You know, you get your hard breach on, start to poise for a plant. Very hard to do on Kitchen. EP, hopefully they've had plenty of time to set up different setups on lots of different bomb sites on this map. I do wonder what they've had a chance to talk about during the break between maps. Hopefully Mag has prepared something for them. I will say this, I mean, I just want to quickly tag in and say, look, Chiefs, despite having a long day today, they are looking pretty well ready, pretty well rested. You know, you talked about potential fatigue setting in. I mean, Player has been so energized all day long.
Oh, I'm with you on that, actually. And, you know, every team deals with that differently. Some teams are high in energy naturally, some are lower. If you're used to grinding for long gamer hours, then again, that's going to favor you. If you're the kind of player that you only play really well for like a minute, an hour and a half straight, and it's right after showering and eating and stuff, then you're not going to last very long in pro play, because when you get to BO3s, you're going to be playing for a lot longer than an hour and a half straight. I was gonna talk about something else regarding EP, and I've completely forgotten what it was, actually. I've lost my point.
That's okay, I'll forgive you.
I'm searching for it, though. I'm thinking, deep in the depths of my brain. I was gonna say that I really enjoy Mag coming back into the scene.
Yeah.
I really enjoy when you have a really high level player who was very, very known in the region, play internationally and represent the region at every single event. Then they kind of, they retire or they get benched, or maybe they just don't have success anymore with the new new roster. Like the end of Fnatic was like Magnet and 4 Japanese players, and he was speaking, his secondary language of Japanese, and it was not a very good look for the roster. He kind of just slowly faded out because they weren't getting results, and eventually he like retired. Then I met him a couple times at various events and whatnot behind the scenes. Now he's back in a tier 1 position as a coach, and I just think that's very lovely.
Yeah, I mean, a real OG of the scene. He went to plenty of events back in the day with the Mindfreak / Fnatic
All
roster.
the events, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did for a very long time. Making a splash with that Fnatic roster, even with Mindfreak. Made it top 8 at the Six Invitational 2018, I'm going to say it was.
Remember who they knocked out from top 8?
Ooh, who was it?
So from memory, it was the joke was back then when a big organization, they pick up a new team in Siege, they're cursed for the first event they play. CTM got picked up by EG, they would fall in the grand finals. Team Liquid, I believe, picked up the Brazilian roster, and Mindfreaks kicked them out of SI. And I was in the lobby watching the screen, and like, oh my god, Mindfreaks kicked out Team Liquid, this new tier 1 organization that picked up a Brazilian team, that's crazy. So yeah, Mindfreaks took out Team Liquid in the very beginning, I believe.
Yes, I remember that.
How cool is that?
Very OG back in the day. I mean, it's funny, we had a bit of a rivalry back then with Team Liquid versus Mindfreaks / Fnatic, because they ended up being in the same group quite often at those events way back in the day. But yes, that was a big moment, of course. There are other memorable moments. Fnatic when they had to play without Mag, when he had to stay in Australia, get his appendix out, when Dizzle subbed in. That was at a Pro League Finals. But yeah, very different story. They knocked out the likely, second favorite team at the event in Evil Geniuses. That was a
banger.
I feel like the biggest rivalry for Fnatic was always actually with Norengo, the other best APAC team at the time, because they kept knocking each other out of events. It was this real kind of cat and mouse, one leg up and then one leg back down again between these two teams. The Six Invitational 2019, Norengo knocked out Fnatic and made it to the semi-finals, only to eventually lose to Team Empire. And then the next event, at the Pro League Finals in Milan, it was the other way around. Fnatic knocked out Norenga and then went on to lose to Empire in the semi-finals.
No, it's always nice with the good old rivalries and stories, and I feel like I want to say we've been missing them recently from APAC in general, but it has been like,
I think we have.
The rise of Fearix, and we have kind of like, you don't want to say, but you kind of have been. We've had rosters that I think the goal was to get those storylines and to get that rivalry, and people expected them to get that as well, but the results just haven't been there.
Yeah, I mean, Weibo's the only team that's really been delivering internationally consistently. That said, D+ went pretty deep at Six Invitational. It's just, unfortunate how the bracket worked out, where it was going to be D+ versus Daystar, and then the winner versus Weibo. So it was, all APAC teams in the same part of the bracket. So there was no opportunity for multiple of them to go through. Also means you're guaranteed an APAC team through, and no one wants to have a big performance because you're beating domestic teams at international events.
Yeah, it's also like we say Weibo, and that's like the current generation of the roster, but when they were Bleed, when they were Joel, they're technically been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted the Fearix era, then like the Bleed, Joel, Weibo Gaming era, then maybe get like a CHIEFS or Enterprise era, and get more teams in the conversation for the spot I think Weibo has currently, where they're a very respectable international team and they qualify every single event, and they can actually take names at international tournaments. That's what I feel like we're missing more of.
Yeah, that's what we've missed ever since, in the Oceanic region, ever since Bliss fell apart. We haven't had that international real showmanship from an Oceanic team. Neptune going down to a Nitro, so it's a good way to start the round for EP. But we're pretty deep into it here, Pengu, and Chiefs haven't made a lot of progress, a minute and 20 in.
It's the same struggle they had on 90 laps. Like the first minute and 30 seconds is either too inefficient, aka they don't get enough with the timer, or they keep losing an early player. This time, Lunchbox does finally pick back onto Mikasa and avenges his teammate. Losing Ash for Mira, and a C4 being removed from action knowingly, I'm gonna say that's a pretty decent trade. They still got the blind, but they can bonk out the mirror windows, they can still go for roam clear, they got Nomad for the flank, but the issue is the timer. We gotta see Jakena kind of speed up the pace of this route. He said, Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that was very risky to take a long-range gunfight with the iron sights, no less. Cairo round the corner, finding the kill onto relays as well. Desperate times calls for desperation from the Chiefs, but it will not work out. Great lockup of that defensive side from Enterprise. 2 rounds in a row on the defense. And you know what that means, Pengu? It means that across the last 2 maps, it's 8 rounds in a row for Enterprise.
I really want to see Chiefs now just push more. I want to say defaults, like just have Blackbeard walk into bathroom, clear the corner. Like you don't need to get kills if you're Chiefs on the roam clear. You could just need to like push away the roamers back towards the bomb so that you get map control. It's a handshake deal. You get map control, they get to stay alive. You play 5v5 execute by the bomb side, or in that particular round you play 4v4 to win. When you start taking these really weird gunfights where you get caught off guard and you start just losing players left, right, the round just ends in such an abrupt manner that you can't really learn much from it. Like, what do you say there if you're Chikena? Sorry guys, I ADS with Blackbeard Iron Sight, my bad. But like, you can't do much with that. That just shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Now they take a tactical timeout. They've got plenty to talk about. They need to talk with Nate, of course, their coach, and now the coach of the upcoming Team Australia at ENC, and he really needs to get the boys to sharpen things up. When you see a team go for really desperate low percentage or even cheesy plays, I think the way I see it, Pengu, is it really tells you a story in that they are not confident to win the round by playing quote-unquote default or normally or properly. So they are so desperate that they have to do something cheesy. And yeah, like a moment like this from Chikana, just have more confidence to play this step-by-step process. You don't need to cheese things.
So we had Nate speak to the boys, and from the interviews that we had with him previously, often when he has to step in, it's about just like resetting the boys' playstyle on the mental and saying, guys, you can play your defaults, you can play nice and slow, you can just play for executes. Whatever it is, we gotta see a big shift right here. Because 8 rounds straight for EP, looking mighty comfortable, and Chiefs not really roam clearing efficiently enough or correctly enough, whatever. Either you turn it around right now, or you're gonna have a very slow burn, and just it's gonna look worse and worse. 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. The problem is, now they've seen the shields being brought into action, the clash counter gets on the board. So now if you're Lunchbox, you're not gonna have a very good time, because you got elements to worry about, Toxic Babes, C4, the clash. It is literally not possible to fight the majority of the enemy operators all of a sudden.
And it's a big change up for EP as well. We talked a lot on Bank about how the only thing they had going for them was their ability to fight. Now they're finally playing a little bit more strategic, and they're trying to win the rounds on paper before they actually win them with their mouse and keyboard, which I think is the right way to play. Chiefs, on the flip side, I mean, they don't have as many answers to a lot of the problems that EP are presenting to them as they did in the previous maps.
I see 2-1 giving a lot of vocal callouts right now on the player cam, saying he hears the guy in that tower, he's holding him in stock, they can trade 1 for 1. I think as long as you just keep locking out Chiefs from entering the building, you're just winning. So they know they have a player stuck in tower, they know a player is stuck outside the windows, they know that there's almost going to be no presence inside the building now from the side of Chiefs, which gives Enterprise so much map to work with, an easy fallback towards the bomb site, they can play down the timer, they got the clash, like so many ways to win this one. And we're still waiting with Chiefs to make the first move. There's targeting, smoke by the demos, Lion charge, blitz in the window, they gotta make their push, they gotta make it soon.
Tuhan's really feeling that pressure now though. Gas goes out, second one to follow. He knows that he's about to get pushed. You're right, he could just walk away if he wanted to. Instead he goes for a fight, he loses it to Chikena, who somehow manages to dodge that second fight. However, Brendo with a good crossfire will take him down. It's only Cairo and Brendo left, however. They need to get active with the guns. Cairo brings out the SMG as Brendo is about to get targeted by Neptune's Deimos. Brendo now knows where that Deimos is. He hasn't really moved a lot. Destroy that mirror window, worry about someone in bathroom, worry about the blitz, hello! The flashbang comes through, Lunchbox confirms the kill, and Neptune will hunt down Cairo on that clash. It's another, finally, opportunity to break this spell. Chiefs are back into the game.
A very important round. A little bit slow to the punch, but once they went for it, it was a full commitment. and they get a couple of kills to start off, and more importantly, Lunchbox on the blitz stayed alive throughout the entirety of that push, which meant they could keep on going forward. Clash gets banned away, no surprise there. You want to play the shields, you want to play the gunfires, you got to remove that operator from action, but the blitz in response. So now it's kind of down to playing Blackbeard or Fuse Shield, which is going to be a different playstyle. Blackbeard doesn't win as easily in close quarters, but you do get the AR and frag grenades. Fuse is a bit tricky because you don't have any way to take a fight except for going for an ADS swing, so it's a lot more high risk than the other shield operators. For Enterprise, they lose their Clash, which they played in that previous round, but let's be honest, it didn't really do a whole lot because they're on the other side of the building from where the push is coming from.
Well, at least now Chiefs know that there's at least one bomb site that they can confidently attack, but EP can continue moving. They, in fact, go all the way back to Kitchen. It's funny, this is meant to be the tertiary bomb site, and yet it was by far the hardest one for Chiefs to crack. EP didn't really need to do a lot on this bomb site, except, you know, just have a strong setup, roam a little bit, peel back the layers, disrupt Chiefs' attack. We are going to see the shield.
Man.
It's not going to be the Blackbeard yet. I mean, that's quite a bit of artwork done by the Denari. But we are going to see a shield this round, Penguin. It's going to be that Fuse.
Gotta see them do good work. If you guys were watching on Bank earlier, you'll remember that Jakena did play a Fuse round on a Bank basement roam clear. And Impact Grenade run out gets punished this time. A little bit of a bait play from player, perhaps. It works out greatly. But Jakena fused himself to an injure on Bank and then had to get revived, and it was okay, not the end of the world. We gotta see him not do that this time around.
Solid Snake here is going to be good for clearing that top floor quickly. Ideally, you get control of that top floor, you get Neptune and Jakena to start to make some work on the floor. Here comes that Fuse charge. I believe that might have destroyed some of those Denaris. Hopefully.
Hope so. Otherwise, getting down that hatch is not going to be a possibility. Now, Medbay is very important area of the bomb site. It kind of holds the whole, site together. And you can jump out these windows. There's no Legion in play, but there is going to be maybe elements in there. But if you can get in with Jakena, that could break apart this side. Because the issue with Chiefs usually is a matter of getting inside the bomb site doors. They never really get all the way in. They get locked out in the hallways. Lunchbox, he's fine the second. So 2 undead. Mikasa's dead. Significant number advantage. However, the laser is very much alive. Now, they could EMP them off and drop down the hatch. Or they can walk in those mid-bin windows. I mean, as long as you just work together in this 5v3, the, advantage is in your favor.
Yeah, that's the thing here. Chiefs should be advantaged. However, Cairo has a C4 prepped. He tosses it out. Perfect timing. No. Chiefs did not drop as of yet. Now Jakena has managed to get into sight. He's forcing that plant down. Is Cairo able to deny it? Oh my god, no one's watching from the hatch. They will trade back.
Oh no.
It's a worthwhile trade though for Chiefs. 1 for 1 means they're still in the advantage. But not if Brendo finds one. He's now the last man standing, 1v3. They know where he was. And they can start forcing this plant down, but no shield to work with. Good guns, though, on the Chiefs side. And vertical domination with Lunchbox still holding up above. Brendo needs to have the clutch of his life here to go up for Enterprise. He knows that there's a crossfire to contend with. He doesn't know exactly where these Chiefs players are. He knows roughly where that plant was going down. He's going to have to walk time and time again into these crossfires. Nice first shot onto relays. 22 seconds. There's just enough time to get this done. With Lunchbox on the top floor, this shouldn't be winnable. It doesn't even come down to that because player will hunt him down, find the kill with the Solid Snake, and tie the scoreline for Enterprise.
I'm so curious what's up with Lunchbox, man. The second they win, he's always out of that tier. I just don't know what he's doing. Like, I'm very curious now because we need like every round
a bigger view of his whole room so we can see, like, is he just pacing, or is he going and sitting on his bed, or I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, maybe he's literally dropping like 10 push-ups just like every single round or something like that.
I need to ask him at some point.
Yeah. Should have asked Nate last week, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it last week nearly as much as I've noticed it today.
solid round though. I think finding that plant position was phenomenal. The lack of cover, not as much, but when you get the 5v3, that's what I mean. Like, you can afford to make a small mistake, or you can afford that your enemy makes a huge play, because you still got significant numbers advantage to like reel it back in. And they did get a trade in the end. You know, Fuse dies, the guy killing the Fuse died. So you go from a 5v3 to a 4v2. All is good in the world. Trying to think how many rounds attack should get here. I was just thinking 3-3 half, James. Like, what's the bar to beat?
I think it's much more about the momentum than it is about a certain scoreline on either side. Enterprise won, what was it, 8 rounds in a row or something silly like that? And Chiefs have now won 2 back. So in my view, Chiefs now have the advantage. If they win this round but then lose the next one, that means that we're kind of back to an even momentum. But, I mean, if Chiefs win the next 2, that's 4 in a row from them. That's an insane result. Even if EP win this round but lose the next round, that's momentum built by Chiefs.
Selma goes off on the external wall. And there's no denial for it. Bandit Kite both bend away, and the 2 are brought to stall things further. It's gonna limit Brindo's position here. Doesn't have a whole lot of cover anymore, and still taking the angle very confidently. Again, they're always trying to just kind of keep Chiefs as far away from the building as possible and not give them any map space for free. And it works really well because, again, they bend them onto the glass and the blitz, some of the cheesier operators to force that control with. And honestly, to my surprise, I haven't really seen a Ying or a Grim a whole lot here from the side of Chiefs on the attacking side. A lot of Ashe, though, because the mirror's open.
And they love that Deimos as well. That's their way of targeting these players in these hard-to-kill positions. Like Cairo, for example, has been spotted out, but he's just happy to keep on burning as many smoke babes as he likes. Doesn't matter. He can pop the Goyo fire. Was that? No, that was actually the Capital's fire that missed him.
I mean, he has found the perfect pixel to just vibe at. But also, I'm a bit curious, what's the thinking here for Chief? Like, no one's cutting him off from the, you know, the venting window behind him. Nobody's jumping in. They're not gonna contest him by dropping down on the balcony. So unless Cairo walks away willingly, how do they want him to be cleared?
Okay, that was never gonna work for relays. We need Jakenna here. Like, he needs to be the one dropping down the stairs with the Blackbeard.
Yeah, where's the BB?
Yeah, the Blackbeard's instead coming up the stairs. Oh, Cairo surely nods. Oh, that's gonna hurt for Jakenna. 1 by 1, Chiefs drop. It's going to be a flawless round, surely, for Enterprise. He's got Diffuser in his clutches too, doesn't he, Cairo? Holding onto that kid at the top of the stairs. Lunchbox just looking for an exit frag. He's not likely to find anything.
That's awkward. Very, very awkward round. I think the Caps on fire did more damage than the Goyo, and it limited them in the push. It's a flawless. Cairo locking down both the staircase, the window, and the drop. And with that, they get the freest round so far on Fortress.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage there for EP to win such a convincing round. Completely flawless. Chiefs looked very lost on that attack. What was the idea there? I mean, Relays dropping the hatch into 2 players. Very risky. I mean, maybe you do this with a Blackbeard, right? I mean, you could argue that, you know, the smoke is in an exposed position, but you can't aim down sights when you drop. If he could aim down sights, then maybe that's a play. But even then, he would have definitely gotten traded by the player at the vending machine.
Yeah. We gotta see, like, when I say I want to see more default pushes from Chiefs, I think that previous round is exactly what I'm referring to. Where in every ranked match you ever on Fortress, if any defender plays in that spot like Cairo did, we call it single wall in my rank stacks, like, you need to force the player out, because if you don't drop and take the gunfight, even if you nade him or Caps on fire him, he just walk 5 steps backwards and he's gonna survive the fire and the nade because they don't reach him. You need to make a play off the utility. It could be as simple as having a flashbang, flash him, drop, take the gunfight, or as I said, just take the Blackbeard, drop down for free because you can't die, and just make the play happen. And that's kind of where Chiefs, they feel a bit nervous to me. They're not actively seeking the play. They're like, okay, we're gonna try and hope that they swing us in a stupid way and we just hold our guns up and then we get the freebie. But as the attacker, you need to be the ones to make the play yourself. You cannot rely on your enemy to be the one to start the fight every single time. That's your job.
Setting barricade.
That said, while there are 2 successful defenses of that Dorms bomb site for EP, we have to go back down to waiting room now for this final round of the half. Or it could have gone to command office, but that's been even worse for EP. So down to waiting room and cafe. Now last time around, Chiefs managed to clear out this position in medbay and drop for a plan quite happily. This time they've got the Ying. The Warden from Cairo will be instrumental to preventing Neptune from single-handedly disrupting that bomb site.
This is something about this site that is hard to break for Chiefs. I like this kind of mini play. Being into the outside, goes into a window upstairs, creates chaos, and they hit the site below. The issue is, player exposes his location, so now they know that this could be a fake, but actually it might not be. They're gonna full set it instead to the mid bay.
Oh my god, this is so aggressive so early on, but Cairo is the perfect operator, ready to receive. Not affected by those flashbangs as Neptune is shut down. Lunchbox is the last one standing, the Solid Snake in another 1v5. Enterprise, 2 of their most dominant rounds in a row so far. It was a gamble by Chiefs and one that did not pay off thanks to one man. Cairo loses his head. Good shot from Box. 4 more to find. He knows where 2 of them are. He knows he's walking straight into a crossfire through the smoke as well. An unenviable position, no doubt. Needs to take these fights. That nade is good. Almost gets a wall bang on the back of it. He knows where that player is, but he doesn't have another nade to utilize. He's going to have to try and bait out the swing. Bappin doesn't need to move. He's also spotted on the camera. So tempted here for Bappin to go for a swing. Gets baited into it. 1v5 becomes a 1v3. Maybe it is winnable after all. Lunchbox has info.
Well played.
Bappin says well played. And Box is hungry for more. Approaching the bomb site. The Fuser is cold on the ground as the defense starts to peel further and further back. But it doesn't matter because Brendo is there. And that UMP will be the saving grace for EP to make sure they do not fumble yet another round. It's a redemption for them on that defensive half. They find 4 across the split.
Honestly, not a bad push at all. We spoke about how important mid-bay is to that bomb site so that it makes sense to attack it directly. But I'm gonna go back to the same point that we keep making. They're too slow. They didn't execute that rush until 1 minute 50 seconds in, left on the clock rather. So 1 minute and 10 seconds into the round. That means no one's opening doors and windows or applying pressure in the building or contesting the roamers above. When that's happening, as the roamer on EP's side, you go, guys, nobody's playing the game. Like, they're doing something fishy. So you're gonna start being a lot more conscious of the possibility of a rush. If you wanna go for that fast attack, it has to be fast. It can't just be a fast attack that takes a long time to happen. Then it's not fast anymore. The surprise is gone. We see Nate getting as many words out per minute as possible. He has 2 full minutes to talk to his boys, and they gotta make the most of them because they need to make a comeback happen.
I hope Bonks still has his headset on though, so they can hear all this. The thing is here for Nate, I'm sure that you want to be kind of saying a lot about, you know, everything that went wrong in that attacking half. No point now. You got to talk in the defense. You know, you still have your tactical timeout in pocket. If you want to use that in overtime, if we end up getting there and you need to lock in on your attacking side, sure. But it's time to focus up on that defensive side. We didn't see Chiefs win any defenses on Nighthaven Labs, but they were really good on that defensive side on Bank. If they can replicate that success here, then maybe there's a chance at bringing it back despite this early lead from EP.
They're gonna have to give it everything they got. Again, I mean, maybe take some inspiration from Enterprise and start on a different bomb site, throw a bit of a curveball into the mix.
It's funny, it did work that first time they played it for EP, but it didn't work the second, and it only won the third time because they countered that rush.
Yeah. The thing is, right, when you start a game on 0-0, it doesn't really matter what happens the first round. You're just starting off. You can do anything that you want. 5-man's bomb peak for all I care. But when you're down 2-4, you kind of want to start on the more safe area, you know, the stronger bomb side, playing the stronger operators, not taking like a super huge risk necessarily. But with that being said, when you're on the third map in a BO3, you need to be able to have the balls to go for a hero play sometimes. Go for that risky bomb side. Like, look at how Cairo played the last 2 rounds. He was the smoke playing bottom of tower, locking out all the attackers. He was the warden playing in mid base, stopping the entire rush. Cairo does not care what position that he's in and how it goes. He just plays it out, step by step. We gotta see Chiefs have that same risk assessment where they have willingness to stay in a difficult position. They have willingness to take a fight and not run away. Because they're gonna have to clutch up now. They're down 2-4. No matter how good you are here in defense, that's not gonna be enough to rely upon. You need to be the playmaker.
It's interesting seeing Chiefs go to this bomb site first. It's the only bomb site that EP hated with a passion. They played it once, they got completely destroyed, and they never went back to it. But this is the default bomb site for most teams, this command office bathroom bomb site. And there's 2 main ways to do it. You go from the main stairs, or you go for a map clear from dorms. I wonder if EP will play a little bit more of this default that you were talking about, that we didn't see so much from Chiefs.
Good old step 1, step 2, step 3. The beautiful thing about playing that kind of style is that often every single player in the server is going to understand what everyone else is doing, and that you cannot go to step 2 until everybody else has finished step 1. When you play the newer style that we refer to as split theory, where you're seeking a gap and seeking opportunities and kind of taking it off instinct and whatnot, you're not going to know what your other teammates are doing necessarily, because you're focusing on your play at hand. And it can create a very chaotic game both for yourself but also for your opponent.
Welcome back to the APL. We are deep into the grand final here of the Oceanic region with a spot of the SLC Major up for grabs. Pengu, we've had a few moments of reprieve, but we are about to get back into it. Chiefs and Enterprise going head-to-head, and we can see here the scoreline is as it currently stands. Enterprise taking their tactical timeout, leading by 1 round. Now, they won 2 rounds ago, Pengu, but then they just lost the round prior on their attacking side. So Chiefs might be able to push and make a comeback happen.
Yeah, it seems like those tertiary bomb sides, playing downstairs in kitchen has really worked out for both of these 2 squads. Just picking up round after round on defense and the attack struggling against it. I feel like attack timeout makes good sense here. Just kind of recompose, figure out what we're going to do going forward. We just saw the final operator bans. I think it was a Solace and Blackbeard. I'm not sure about the Blackbeard. I'm pretty sure I saw the Solace. And of course, if you see those, it's going to change what kind of bombs that you want to play and how you want to play them. And also, call it before we get to overtime scenario or before you're down on match point. It makes perfect sense to call it right now before it's too late.
For sure. Again, the mini fridge from Bappin. What's he going for? Another energy drink, I wonder? Man, he's got his serious face on today. Yeah, he does. And look, it's been a long day for EP, of course, 3 maps deep, but it's been an even longer day for the Chiefs. Let's not forget, of course, they had to beat Man LFO earlier today just to get to this grand final.
Yeah, they've had quite the journey here, and before that, James, they are fighting in the lower bracket, playing game after game after game, and it was not like a quick 7-0 against their opponents. They went max OT. They played 5 maps, and out of those 5, 4 of them went to overtime. 2 of them went to max overtime. They have had a ridiculously difficult and long, last 2 weeks.
At least there are some smiles on their dials here from Cairo. Oh man, it's been, what a crazy offseason it was with all of these roster changes. Globally, there were so many rumors thrown around, and I knew from talking to the Enterprise boys, I knew that Fisher was retiring. I knew that Tuhan was looking to take more of a leadership role on the team. I didn't know about the Magnet change, though. That is one that actually slipped under my radar. I didn't know about it until I got the actual official final rosters from Blast after the roster lock had occurred. He's been the X factor for this team, but it's funny because as a coach, we don't really get to see what his involvement looks like. Back in the day, Mag was known to be a very creative player. He was always kind of that 5th extra player on Fnatic, whereas you had your clear-cut fraggers and your supports. Mag likes to play his Valkyries, his Echoes, these kind of different things, and like to play very adaptable, which is very much what the meta is about right now.
Yeah. Magnet also was one of the only people in the world to take down G2 back when I was in that roster. Fun fact. I was peeking at Twitch chat after a map or a series ended, and we spoke about Mag, and somebody said, "Why is Pingu not talking about Magnet beating him at SI?" And I was like, hold on.
I feel like I talk about it every time I see bring him up.
I'm like, first of all, I was praising Magnet as a player, excited to see him back as a coach. I love to see it. And Twitch was like, well, maybe you should mention that he actually beat you back in the day. It's true. He did. And now that I think about it, right? The G2 Penta era from 2016 till my retirement in 2021 of January never lost a game to North America. Not once. We lost a map, not a match. From memory, could it be true that only Fnatic with Magnet ever beat us from APAC?
I think that's likely, unless if you guys lost to Norengo at any point, but all the other top APAC teams.
We did.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably right.
That makes Magnet the GOAT.
It does.
Of APAC, it does. Surely.
It does, yeah. Look, in terms of taking down that G2 team, look, I'm going to be honest, Pengu. Like, remember, you guys got that pity invite to that SI. That was
we should not have been there.
You were not in peak form at that invite. But yes, you're right. Obviously, Fnatic and Magnet on that team did knock out G2. They eventually actually fell to BDS. I was looking at it before. It was the eventual team that knocked out Fnatic. Other teams, surely there are other big teams that beat you at these events. I guess it was mostly the Europeans and the Brazilians.
Yeah, Brazilian was the first region to take us down. Obviously, not Atlanta. Not Salt Lake City. What am I talking about? What's it called? Euro 2 Season 3 in America.
Atlantic City?
Atlantic City?
That was the Liquid
right.
Grand Final. That was the Liquid Grand Final.
Atlantic City. I was thinking of Atlanta. Atlantic City was the first time we lost to Brazil, and we lost afterwards as well. But that was like one of the big ones.
I'm looking back on. So you won season 1.
No, second time
you guys
we lost to Brazil.
beat Sisu as Pensa. You won year 2 season 1. Finals, you beat Black Dragons in the final. Year 2 season 2, you lost to Ents, who eventually won. That was the Sao Paulo events. I mean, I've got you guys losing to just Black Dragons and Ents here, and Liquid and Empire sometimes.
Yeah, Empire 20 in Riley Major we lost to Empire.
Apparently, you guys played something called the 6 Cup 2018 and lost to Millennium. Does that sound familiar? Is there some French tournament, maybe?
Probably some me tier 2, tier 3 thing that we were forced to play. I don't think that was... So back in the day, you were actually forced to play the national leagues. So like we played for Penta G2, we're a German organization. We had to play in the tier 2 German league, which is like way beneath any tier 1 levels skill, obviously. But it was good for exposure and advertising. And we wouldn't take those games very seriously. In fact, we had both Kanto and Uno, I think, or some other player, oversleep one day and play with our manager and our coach and got smacked on Oregon. So, yep. We've had some losses like that, for sure.
And that's why they got kicked.
Okay.
Because they slept through the tier 2.
We're back in the server.
That's all good.
That's great. That's why Brenda will be gone next season, buddy. Can't throw a grenade? We'll find someone who can, buddy.
No, Brendo's too good. You can't kick the goat.
But he is too good.
I mean, Enterprise certainly need to kick into gear right now because it has been a long and arduous day for both teams, and particularly for Chiefs. Haven't played the lower bracket final prior to this, but especially with all of the technical delays we've just experienced. That most recent technical delay, by the way, guys, was a player dropping out. So, we've got 10 different players. Got to make sure they're all working as well. Neptune now holding onto this fortified position with the Warden, but because Brendo wasted one of those grenades, he's actually not going to have util to clear that. I believe Bappen might be able to do so.
I think they missed the shield with the S charge too. I don't think they cleared it, to be honest with you.
Is Kyra going to win this fight against Jackenna on the stairs? He does go deep with the Reaper. They don't need to take down this shield. Now it works in favor of the attackers.
So they get main stairs control. They're dropping down the old tower with 200 as well, so frontal pressure. And Kyro is now rotated over, so with the diffuser. Sorry, he was at the inside time on Ying, actually, with the diffuser, rather. So 3 people working together in the front, still backstepping on Horror's door, but I was right. It never cleared the deployable shield, despite both a grenade and 2 separate ash charges were thrown at the problem. But I do believe that it cleared the Nari laser. So they can get in for the backstab. They just can't take the gunfight that easily.
Yeah, it's very hard now to clear Neptune, especially because he's the warden. But Cairo comes in for the backstab, and with the Reaper, he wreaks havoc on the Chiefs defense. Just player and Realize, the former EP players up against their old team player now. The last one standing, Realize finds one before he's traded back. No more Candelas as the Ying's gone down. No much util as well for EP. Big 2 kills for player. It's now Brendo and Jigsaw. He has to find every one of them. Brendo goes down 1v1 against Jigsaw, the player who replaced him on this team. I'm not sure he has the read. He walks straight into his open arms. And Jigsaw conjures up a match point for Enterprise.
Oh, you saw the train of thought there from player. He had a good read. He thought he was going to be on that 90 corner, jiggling to the left or the right-hand side, either swinging the hallway or swinging the rotate. But the thing is, Brendo already rotated earlier to that bomb site door when his teammates started dying. So player was so confident he had full information because he didn't hear any footsteps. But Brendo was just one step ahead and had already gone close. What a nice try, though. And honestly, watching that back, you know what that was giving me a flashback to?
What?
Do you know, James? To Doom. When Doom had the same kind of 1v3 or 1v4, the same bomb site, same kind of performance where you're kind of weaving back and forth.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure if Doom actually played the Ella, but...
Kill number 3.
All headshots.
I think June was playing the Valkyrie at least for one of those clips, but I mean, similar high rate of fire gun. Players kicking himself. He was so damn close, and he was getting taunted in the old chat as well by Tuhan and Jigsaw. He was so close. I bet you thought that was possible, and you could see on Player's face he thought it was possible. That would have been his very own June moment to push it to an even 5-5 breakpoint scoreline. But now Enterprise have 2 championship points and major spot on the line.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
That was such a confidence-inspiring push as well. I mean, that was just Cairo with the Candelas and the main stairs pushing up, getting a huge kill, and everybody rotated over to support it. I like that attack, though. It's saying, hey, we can both win from the front or from the back portion of the site. We'll just go to the area where we are successful. So had Cairo not gotten a kill on main stairs, they just don't rotate and they just attack horse instead. It's a very nice way to have 2 different plans and you can link up wherever you are the strongest. Flourish Drone is... they have a spare shield and pocket. So let's say they Flourish Drone the first one. Pocket shield comes out. Now they gotta play a bit more actively in these hallways to make sure that the second shield doesn't fall to another Flourish Drone. But we're gonna have a problem here. The Blackbeard, the Glass, the Grim... There's not a ton of ways for Chiefs to take a fair gunfight. They got plenty of plan denial, Chishanga, Thorn Trap, Smoke. But how are they gonna deal with the, the Glass walking on in a smoke grenade? They can try and just throw that into the smoke and try and hope that they hit the shots with the fire, the smoke, or whatever, but it's not ideal.
Yeah. There's a lot of good setup here for Enterprise on the attacking side. Deadly operators in the lineup. The defense has to look for a way to lash out the fire and the smoke. On the Chanka and the smoke, tries to get active, reactive. They see Jigsaw, Mikasa on the glass, but that is a great gas babe. Good re-aggression from player, finds his kill, but Jigsaw will reply, taking down Relays. Player is still alive. He has been instrumental for the Chiefs today, but Jigsaw is hungry.
It's worth it. They take down the Blackbeard and there's no more smoke grenades from the glass. Now they can fight back on even numbers and even terms, and that's the big thing for me. But Bappin gets 1. Window swing is good. 3v2 favoring Chiefs.
Player's in such a good position. Jigsaw trying to fake him out. But Jigsaw goes down to box. It's just Brendo left and he doesn't know where they are. Player again, the playmaker for the Chiefs. 1 round away from pushing this to overtime.
They're fighting back. Like I said, they had no real way to fight back against the Blackbeard and the glass, but then Blackbeard walked through the bomb site hallway, gets meleeed, then gets shot, and then the Toxic Babe was perfect to stop the glass from following up on the push. That was like a one and done. If they don't hit the Toxic Babe, or if Blackbeard doesn't get meleeed and killed, that's a different round, because now they have information, they can work off the smoke grenades, and it should just be over. But Chiefs, they're in this position of we cannot make a mistake, and if we do, we have to make a play elsewhere to make up for it. But they go to tertiary bomb site, they go back downstairs if they were successful earlier. Like, on paper, this is a really good spot to be in. On most other maps, when you win 2 defense rounds and you go to a third tertiary site, you're kind of screwed. Like, that's it. Like, you have such a low chance of winning. But this might actually be statistically on paper for this match, their highest win rate bomb site for both these two teams on defense.
Oh, that is scary how close these rounds get. And you can just see in the way that player is moving, the way he's unafraid to get re-aggressive. He is so fired up today, man. After
he's not losing,
getting that 1v4, he is so determined not to lose. I mean, for goodness sake, him and Relays got kicked from this team. You know, they dropped Fisher Guy. Well, Fisher Guy left because he knew he wanted to retire, right? That was an obvious choice. But after Fisher retired, EP had some tough decisions to make. Do they keep the players that had been with them for a whole year of international events, or do they try something new? But when both Jigsaw and Brendo become available, the temptation is to pick them both up. And that would have meant dropping at least one of Relays or player. And I think once you start dropping players, you start thinking about, well, we may as well drop them both and pick up Cairo as well.
That can definitely end up being the case. Now there's a finger on the board to boost up the Blitz, and Brendo in this case as well. Fast entry, but it's just gonna be the castle. It's not a huge loss here from the side of Chiefs, but they lose a bit of map control with that. And with these castle barricades getting opened up second by second.
Oh, no.
Never mind, they rolled too far beneath the barricade. I was gonna say they're gonna lose so many of their safe areas by the bomb site, but with that nade missing, that's gonna mean you're gonna be lacking a bit of self-destruction. Maybe get Flores in the mix, get the Ash of Brendo to switch it on over and help them out. And it's gonna slow down this push for a bit longer.
Time to go fishing. Don't need to go too quickly here. Don't need to go over aggressive. But the util is waning here for EP. They're losing a lot of it. They're out of nades now. A lot of flashbangs, but when players on the warden, you certainly don't want to count on them. Neptune takes a hell of a lot of damage, so he falls back deeper into the site. Upstairs, Relays is the X factor for the Chiefs. He can look for a flank in the late round, but he can't afford to go too early.
This bomb site, being held by a 20 health LM.
Oh, no.
The issue is the cannon goes down as well. That's the smoke, so timer is real. 60 seconds. Have to hit the shots now, player. It's your time to step up once more.
Cairo on the blitz. He gets aggressive, but that C4 will miss. Plays in an awkward spot.
Oh, no.
And taken down. The savior of the Chiefs is at the mercy of the blitz. And now Relays on for his flank. Can't even find the shots on Brendo. Eventually puts him down. 1v5 retake to save the hopes and dreams of this brand new roster, but Bappen puts it to bed. A super team solidified at the apex of OCE. The Kings hold on to their crown, and Enterprise are back on track to the major.
Super team question mark, more like super team exclamation mark. There was a good moment there where Chiefs looked like they could take that title away from them and say, you know what, you might be a super team, but you ain't going to win. But then round by round, map by map, Enterprise started figuring out their weaknesses, because they started a bit slow in this grand final, but they didn't lose their confidence, they didn't falter. And that's how they find themselves many hours later in this BO3 as the victor.
A well-deserved victory, especially after such a tumultuous start to the series on Bank. Chiefs really brought their A game today. It's been a long marathon for them, from the Man LFO game in the lower final into this grand final. After winning Bank, though, it felt like Enterprise, they let that slip through their fingers, and they came back with a vengeance on Nighthaven. That was unreal. And then Fortress, despite all of the delays that we had, for me, the decisive round where it really turned in favor of EP was once we came back and we saw player almost find that 1v4. If he had landed that final kill onto Jigsaw,
changes everything.
I think that Enterprise, boom, the mental is gone. But no, they withstood it. Jigsaw won it until he even got a little bit of smack talk there in the old chat. A well-deserved return to the top of OCE for, well, Cairo, Jigsaw, and Brendo making their way onto Enterprise. And this super team is looking like hot property here in OCE.
Also, when you go through roster changes, right, it's so hard to figure out, like, meeting expectations of the previous roster, because when you're the super team, you can only get first place. Nothing else is acceptable. So the fact that they go and get that right now, I mean, whew, pressure off your shoulders.
Yeah, very much. And not only roster changes, but also changes to the support staff. Mag coming in as the coach. We've got him to come in for an interview. First up, Mag, congratulations on being a champion in OCE as a coach. It feels inevitable. How many years has it been since you were champion in OCE back in the day with Fnatic and Mindfreak as a player? It feels only befitting that now, since joining EP, you raise another trophy and you're heading to another major. Man, what must that feel like after such a break from the scene for you?
Honestly, the feeling right now, like it's like the feeling like a little kid again, you know. Definitely being a coach, the adrenaline is actually insane. When we're starting to throw rounds, the adrenaline's up, and like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I've been out of the scene for however many years now, and it's really good to be back. It's I'm working with some very talented boys here, so honestly, just great to be back. And we need to get OCE and APAC back to the main stage of Invitational. Ever since I left, no one has made the main stage of Invitational.
That's right. You guys did it like no other in OCE. Talk me through the process of what your job actually is right now. Obviously, as fans of the game, we see the coaches on the player camps and we see you talking, but what are you actually contributing to with the boys? Because you left the scene as a player for a while, the strategy has changed, the meta has changed. Are you doing more like fundamental stuff while they're catching you up to speed, or are you already like helping them out with strategy and counter prepping? Like, what's your role for these guys?
Yes, so my role is, managing players and personalities, because there are a lot of personalities on the team.
True.
It's also, making strats when we need to, doing the hard, dirty work of looking at other teams, writing up, counter strats, possible weaknesses, what we should ban. I'm very, very grateful to have someone like Cairo on the team, who is a huge Siege brain. He has one of the best, brains in Siege. And, he's a super hard worker, so I work with him closely a lot. It's also, making sure in the timeouts. So just before on the timeouts, I'm addressing the fact that we should go for like a kitchen execute, or just a first floor execute on our kitchen on that last round, instead of, pushing up top like we usually do. And it just at the moment, because I'm only a one-man show for head coach, I'm, doing a lot of things, but I'm also learning a lot from the players. Obviously, Fortress, I don't have as much experience on Fortress as the other players, so they're always teaching me things. But it's a great back and forth, and it's just a really good environment we've created for, the team to build and eventually become one of the best teams in the world.
Mag, you mentioned that no team from OCE has made it to the main stage at Six Invitational since your days with Fnatic. Another stat I've got that I've been thinking a lot about since EP made some roster changes this year is no Oceanic team has actually won a game against a non-APAC team without Fisher Guy since you guys did with Fnatic. So Fisher Guy retiring, and surely that would have had massive ripple effects on the rest of the team, because he was the brains of the operation, because he was that primary support player. You mentioned Kara, he's brought on. What does that look like when you get players like obviously Tuhan and Bappin staying on the roster, but then you get Brendo and Jigsaw, some of the most talented mechanical players in the game? How does that work with the roles when you don't have that traditional super support player like Fisher?
So yeah, you'd say like Fisher Guy is the traditional support player, although he did play a lot of shields, so I'm really grateful that Cairo has picked up the shields. He's been absolutely running super well on the shields. So to be honest, we just now have a shield player that can, no offense to Fisher obviously, that can frag out, okay? Obviously Fisher Guy has a really good, calm sort of personality, which I think is really needed for the current team. However, I think we want to not just do the same thing as the old EP. We want to bring some new strategies and a new play style with the current players that we have. We want to do the best with what we have, and that's being aggressive, and that's playing aggressively on shields and actually fragging on the shields.
Mag, it's been... Oh, sorry, you go. Please, Nick. No, I don't want to get between you two. You guys have history. I don't want to get between it.
I know your question kind of led me down a train of thought here.
Yep.
During the first map, Baron Bank, we speak a lot about you guys' aggressive nature and playstyle, how you perform.
Yep.
I feel like sometimes there's a tendency for that to actually be a weakness, right? Because it's about ego challenging, fighting, etc., coin flipping, 50-50 gunfights. Back in our day, Mag, that was seen as like you gotta play smart together. But I will also give you guys praise and say throughout map 2 and map 3, it seemed there was like less of the 50-50 gunfights and a bit more of that team synergy.
Yep. I definitely agree with you. We shouldn't be taking the 50-50s all the time, but what we try and make sure to do in this team is that if we are making a play, then we're doing it together. As long as there's someone else there, we just do the play. Obviously, there are times where you have to go for the 50-50 to kill that person in, the enemy player in a power position to open up the round. But this team is really working at being, aggressive but together. So that's just the main focus for us.
It's been a while since you've had the chance to address the OCE community as a champion, Mag, so I'd just love to give you the floor and say anything you want to say to fans watching EP and this brand new team as you head to the major.
This is, a roster that we're building to, not just qualify for the international events, but to go deep at them like the previous Fnatic. So this is, obviously the best roster OCE has to offer. We obviously had a slow start on Bank today, but the mentality that we showed, the experience we have on the team, the raw talent we have on the team, keep supporting us, and we'll definitely, pull through at the international events. So, it's great to be back.
Well, thanks for your time, Mag, and congratulations again on once again becoming a champion here in OCE. Good luck at the major.
Thanks, guys.
It is just so funny. I mean, you roll back the clock, and it was 6 years ago that the three of us were in the same room in Montreal. You guys on opposite sides of the competitors' desks, and me standing a few meters away on the analyst desk. How times have changed. We're all in different places now. Of course, Mag is a great asset to rejoin the OCE community at the very top level, but he wasn't the only person who was influential. All five players from EP stepped up. One in particular that we wanted to highlight, let's be honest, there wasn't one standout player for EP as much as there was for CHIEFS. If they had won, it would have definitely been Player with his 100%. Highlight moments. But Suhan has been unreal, consistently fragging, and now he's one of the most experienced members of this roster.
Yeah, it's crazy to say, right? Because Tuan is still a fairly new player in my brain, especially me being new to APL and Oceania. But he's been rock solid for whatever roster iteration he's been on. He's always able to frag it out and play well. He's also very selfless. He doesn't just get all the resources and will just go and do his own thing. It's much about helping other people.
Yeah. Very much so. Let's reflect upon how OCE has panned out for kickoff. We, of course, played out a double elimination bracket, starting with 8 teams, and we end up with just one that goes to the major. Coming into this stage, Pengu, a lot of the people in this region looked at Enterprise, CHIEFS, Barbie Boys to be the top 3 teams. Both CHIEFS and Barbie Boys ended up in an elimination game, first up in the lower bracket, and then CHIEFS, after beating them, ran the gauntlet all the way to that grand final. What an incredible run from this brand new team.
I mean, lower bracket is brutal, man. I mean, look at this. 2-1, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. However, against the Shy Academy and Rock LFO, we're talking 4 maps of brutal overtime and to the wire and rounds that they lost that they shouldn't have, etc. The fact that CHIEFS made it all the way to the grand final, took a map off EP and went close in the third as well, it cannot be understated. Enterprise might be the best that OCE has to offer, like Magnet said, but CHIEFS are not far behind.
Yeah, very much so. Of course, within APAC, we now have our 4 qualified teams through to Salt Lake City. We have Weibo and Daystar from Asia, CHG Osaka from APAC North, hailing from Japan, and of course, Enterprise from OCE. How do you feel now that we see all of the major qualified teams across the 4 regions, excluding CNL? How do you think that these APAC teams will fare, Pengu?
I mean, this is obviously very bracket dependent. I certainly think that your teams like Weibo or CHG on a prime day are going to have a really good chance. I think Daystar and Enterprise are going to be ranked a little bit lower, which I also think makes sense given the less experience, new roster iterations, etc. But again, if you come up against certain matchups, I think Twisted Minds and APL might actually be a pretty good mix-up into the playstyles and how that's going to fare. But if you go up against your Furia, your FaZe, your G2, I just don't know if they have what it takes to battle against the Titans.
Never know, man. I mean, even teams like Shopify Rebellion from North America, they have lost a lot of games in the past. I think they lost to D+, who didn't even qualify through APL because CAG got the better of them.
They've had their own struggles.
Very much so. Of course, all of our teams that have played in the APL have been rejuvenated in 2026 after the roster mania to kick off this year, but that actually closes out the APL for us. Pengu, it's been such a pleasure working on APL with you this stage, but that's all we have time for tonight. So to everyone watching, thank you so much for watching the APL, and we'll see you at the Salt Lake City Major.
At 20 health, Ella.
Oh, no.
The issue is the cannon goes down as well. That's the smoke, so timer is real. 60 seconds. Have to hit the shots now, player. It's your time to step up once more.
Cairo on the blitz. He gets aggressive, but that C4 will miss. Plays in an awkward spot.
Oh, no.
And taken down. The savior of the Chiefs is at the mercy of the blitz. And now Relays on for his flank. Can't even find the shots on Brendo. Eventually puts him down. 1v5 retake to save the hopes